Order, Madam Speaker.
Bendicela sithathe lithuba sigebise amakhanda senze umthandazo wobuthule. Amen. Honorable members that are in the House and honorable members that are joining us virtually, the community of eThekwini and the councillors of eThekwini, it is with profound sadness that we formally note the passing on of Mr. Lindinkosi Mazibuko, a senior manager of infrastructure at the Umbumbulu Coastal TVET College, who was shot on the morning of Friday, 30th October, as he waited to sign the entry registry at the college. Further, on behalf of the legislature, I wish to request honorable members of the legislature to remember all those who may have succumbed to the COVID-19 pandemic, road fatalities, and other causes, and to keep them in your thoughts and prayers, especially their families. Let us not forget to salute and thank all our health practitioners and related fraternities for their continued dedication and diligence towards their work, despite the challenges that their disciplines bring. They are indeed our true heroines and heroes. It is with the same breath that, honorable members, we have to put all of you, staff and your families, in our prayers, and also those that may be affected and infected by the pandemic. As members, we must continue to encourage people in the spaces around us to observe and strictly adhere to the Alert Level 1 disaster regulations applicable to all citizens by wearing of masks and issues of social distancing, even in this venue. Honorable members, let us rise to observe a moment of silence for those who have passed on. Wanga uThixo angabapha ukuphumla okungunaphakade. We will move to item number 3 on the order paper. which is ruling on virtual sittings. Honorable members, you are reminded that this virtual sitting will be conducted in terms of the rules of virtual meetings read with our existing standing rules. In terms of Rule 6 of the rules for virtual meetings, the quorum requirement for virtual sittings of the House are provided for in the Constitution and the standing rules of the KZN Legislature. Standing Rule 44 of the standing rules provides as follows. At least 1/3 of all the members of the legislature must be present to constitute a plenary meeting of the legislature, close quote. The rules of virtual meetings also define present as follows. Present means the attendance of a member in a virtual meeting by electronic means in a manner that allows the member to join and participate in the meeting. Honorable members, the Secretary has confirmed that we have the required 1/3 of members present in order to commence with the virtual sitting. The sitting is therefore properly constituted. We will now proceed with the rest of the matters on the order paper. We will read out the apologies that we have received. The apology from Honorable Ms. B.N. Sithole Moloi, MEC for Agriculture and Rural Development, who is attending the NCOP plenary sitting that is currently going on. Honorable Ms. N. Simelane Zulu, MEC for Health, who will leave early due to departmental engagement. Is there by virtual means, Honorable Member? Honorable Mr. K.I. Mshengu, MEC for Education, who has a government engagement to attend to. Honorable Ms. C.Q. Maldlopa is attending the virtual NCOP sitting that is currently taking place together with Honorable Mr. T.V. Kulu, who is also attending that NCOP sitting. Honorable S.M. Sonjita and Honorable T.S. Mjali of the ANC have party-related commitments. Honorable A.V. Khoza and Honorable S.H. Mthetwa of the EFF also have party-related commitments. Honorable M.E. Phakathi also has a prior party commitment, M.E. Phakathi of the ATM. Honorable S.E. Manqele of the ACDP is having a family bereavement. Honorable members, we also have members who are not well. Honorable Deputy Speaker Ndobe and Honorable MEC for Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, and who's also the leader of government business, Ms. Ndube Ncube. They are both unwell. We wish them a speedy recovery. Honorable members, we want to take this opportunity to thank honorable members and staff who participated at the cleanup campaign that took place at the beachfront area earlier today in the Blue Lagoon. Your contribution has not gone unnoticed, and may I implore members to continue with such initiatives within their communities so that our areas are kept clean and hygienic. A special thanks go to all party whips that allowed their members to participate in the program. Honorable members, on Monday, the 2nd of November, was the birthday of Honorable MEC HGS Mavimbela. And may I take this opportunity to wish her a happy belated birthday and hope you had a fabulous day, ma'am. May I also wish the following members birthdays in advance. Honorable K.I. Mshengu on the 10th of November. Honorable C.Q. Maldlopa on the 11th of November. Honorable G.F. Mjali on the 11th of November. Honorable Esther Kurratbanzi on the 17th of November. Honorable MEC R.R. Pillay on the 18th of November. Honorable P.P. Herricks on the 19th of November, and Honorable P. Gavenda on the 21st of November. I wish you well on your birthdays and beyond. Honorable members, on behalf of the legislature, I would like to wish our matriculants and all our learners well as they write their final examinations. COVID-19 has brought a lot of challenges in various sectors in our society, including the education sector. But we are confident that the recovery plan put together by government will yield positive results, especially for our matriculants. The House extends best wishes to them for their exams and future endeavors. Attention is drawn, honorable members, to the fact that for purposes of social distancing, you may find that they have shifted you from your normal sitting position or place because we had to observe social distancing of 1.5 meters. I request honorable members to be understanding of the circumstances that we work and live under. Honorable members, it is absolutely vital that all members who take part in today's proceedings, who are here at the venue, to send their electronic speeches to Hansard after delivery. The quality of the acoustics in the City Hall has proved to be a bit challenging due to the big size of the venue. It is not a problem that IT has any control over, and I therefore request all whips to ensure that their party members who are scheduled to speak during the debate email their speeches to Mr. Alan Parrott at Hansard, alternatively to Ms. Jackie Stone. We expect members to cooperate with this humble request and thank them in advance for their cooperation. We want also, honorable members, to welcome back from a long leave, Honorable P.P. Harris, whether she's in the house or not, but she has come back to work after having been on a leave, a maternity leave or accouchment leave, where Honorable Twala on our behalf sent the welcome back to Honorable Harris. Now, we will move on to item number 4, announcements or reports by the Premier. Honorable Premier, we will give an opportunity to make an announcements.
Thank you, Speaker. And members of the following announcement. Last week on Friday of October the 30th, the Premier launched the Siyahlola monitoring program, which is known as Operation Siyahlola. This launch took place in Umsunduze municipality. Operation Siyahlola is aimed at improving the performance of government and making sure that people experience government services in a good and effective way. During the launch, we visited one project in Woodland, in Pietermaritzburg, and this project has been brought completely because of the lack of proper planning and non-adherence to established procurement processes. We are going to ensure that this challenge in Woodland is attended to and ensure that the project is quickly reactivated and implemented to the completion. Operation Siyahlola will, among other things, make unannounced visits to projects as well as service centers that provide services to the people with an interest of improving the standard of quality and ensure that we terminate or we stop wastage that happens in the implementation of projects. The second announcement relates to matric examination. Honorable Speaker, tomorrow on November 5, at least 148,000 registered matric learners will sit for their final year examination in KwaZulu-Natal. We wish to take this opportunity to wish the leaders all the best, especially as they write these exams faced by the threat of COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected every sector, including disrupting the schooling system. We are certain that our learners are ready and they will do us proud. We wish all of us, we call on all of us to ensure that we provide all necessary support to our teachers and learners during this time. Honorable Speaker, let us take this opportunity on behalf of the government and the people of the province to note that the national football team will be playing a qualifying match on the 13th of November 2020. This is the first leg of the African Cup of Nations, and it will take place here in Durban. We wish Bafana well, and we are grateful that this match is scheduled to take place here in KwaZulu-Natal. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Now we'll go to item number 5, tablings. The first one is the 2020 Multi-Party Oversight Report for eThekwini TLTP tabled by the KZN Legislature, as well as the second quarter and mid-year financials and institutional performance reports. The Human Settlements Portfolio Committee is tabling its committee budget hearing report for the 2020-2021 financial year. The Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs is tabling the reports for the following entities: the Dubai Trade Port Annual Report 2020-2021, KZN Film Commission Annual Report 2020-2021. The Department of Human Settlements tables its annual report for 2020 to 2021. The Department of Community Safety and Liaison, Department of Community Safety and Liaison Annual Report for 2020-2021. Honorable members, is there any further tabling that we might have missed? There is none. We'll move to item number 6, formal motions or notices by the Chief Whip.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. There are no formal motions and notices from our side. Thank you very much.
Siyabulela Mpexesho Inhloko. Now, honorable members, we will go to the main order of the day, which is item number 7 on the order paper. The debate following the report on the multi-party visits conducted in September 2020 into eThekwini Metro. For the first speaker for the day for 20 minutes we're going to receive the report by the chairperson of committees on the multi-party visits conducted in September in preparation for the 2020 TLTP to the eThekwini Metro. We call upon Honorable R.T. Mthembu to report for 20 minutes.
Thank you. And my greetings to honorable member of the 6th Legislature of KwaZulu-Natal, I will go straight to the report. First, giving the overview of the report. Madam Speaker, this is a multi-party oversight report tabled as a fulfillment of the section 104 and 118 of the Constitution, which empowers the legislature to conduct oversight and to facilitate public involvement. Under the Taking Legislature to the People program, eThekwini Metropolitan Municipality was designated as the recipient metro for the 2020 program. The KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Legislature held multi-party public hearing meetings on service delivery issues and conducted oversight visits to projects and service delivery institutions for verifications in all the 17 zones. So the 2020 multi-party and the TLTP program was primarily focused on tracking the progress on the implementation of the National Development Plan, the NDP, and the Provincial Growth and Development Plan, the PGDP, in eThekwini Metropolitan Municipality. Specific areas of focus were as follows. I'll just give a summary of it. One was the construction of bridges, maintenance of roads, access roads to schools, health facilities and households, and learner transport. The second was on housing registers, access and backlogs, slums clearance housing projects, bulk infrastructure services, and social and economic amenities. 3, cooperatives, their existence, functionality, support, and sustainability, as well as SMMEs, existence, functionality, support, and sustainability. 4 was on the issue of Extended Public Works Program, EPWP, employment, type of employment, sustainability, and acquisition of skills and type of skills acquired. The 5th one was on food security programs, projects and challenges and programs covering the implementation to NDP. The 6th one was on progress on the National Health Insurance pilot implementation, readiness for phase 2, full rollout implementation, HIV/AIDS, health institution functionality, COVID-19 and impact, clinic facilities, mobile clinics, ambulance, emergency services. 7, early childhood development, ECDs, COVID-19 and school functionality, school facility, availability of water, access to water, sanitation, and electricity. 9 was on recreational centers, available sporting codes and support for local people, and 10 community libraries, modular libraries, art centers, museums, and craft centers. So what were our findings? Here under, I'll go through the summary of findings. Since we know that the reports have been tabled, it's a very thick report, 341 pages, and available like any other reports of the legislature. On the summary findings, Madam Speaker, I'll first start with the design and type of stakeholders for eThekwini multi-party meetings. The advent of COVID-19 pandemic forced the legislature to change the manner in which it identified the participants and stakeholders. Stakeholders were drawn from councillors, civil society organizations, interfaith sector, NGOs, CBOs, representatives of political organizations, influential members of the public, CCGs, and OSS structures. The attendance was satisfactory considering the existence of a threat of COVID-19, which regulate for limited meeting numbers. With the stakeholders being drawn from specific sectors, it was not anticipated that all of them would have to be transported to the venues. There was at a late stage a request for the legislature to provide transport for all venues. The late receipt of pickup points resulted in the lack or shortage of transport to the venues, which had an impact on the most of the community members not being able to attend the meetings. However, the interest of their respective communities were represented evenly. Following is a summary of issues raised in the community meetings arising from service delivery project and analysis reports. We'll start with the human settlement housing delivery. The areas of Greater Inanda, that will be Amauti, Pambai, Pesta, Mzomusha, Tlongwane, Dube Village, etc., are all experiencing overcrowding. The need to proper housing is quickly becoming a matter of urgency, especially with an ever-increasing population that is characterized by informal settlements and lack of living space. There is a year-on-year increasing demand for low-cost housing due to the urbanization taking place within eThekwini metropolitan municipality. Further exacerbating this matter is the issue of the storms which damaged several houses within the municipality. Many housing development projects, especially in rural community like Mkomas, cannot take off due to non-approval by the Ingonyama Trust. Some of the finished and handed over houses were reported to not be having bulk infrastructural services. There are projects that were approved as early as 1996 in the areas like Lowaton, Wuti, Chelimnyama, Clarwater, but not delivered to date. The municipality must institute a housing delivery tracking system to ensure effective planning, budgeting, execution, and the provision of houses to relevant beneficiaries. Furthermore, for those residents who have RDP houses, there is an outcry for the deeds to avoid the ever-present threat of encroachment. On the shortage of water, eThekwini Metro is experiencing a lot of pressure on the provision of water as a result of increasing households having demand on the existing water reservoirs. The municipality must, as a consequence, initiate water cuts to ensure distribution to all community members. The supplementary of water tanks to the community as an interim measure seem not to be enough. Maintaining water infrastructure will assist in protecting roads which get damaged by leaking water. In general, people commended eThekwini municipality for road infrastructure maintenance when raising service delivery issues during the community engagement meetings. Notably, the main challenge raised was the provincial roads that were reported to be in bad state as they are not regularly looked after. This is worrisome as it contributes to many road accidents due to potholes. It was also recommended that the Department of Transport should consider transferring a number of their roads to the municipality so they can be maintained regularly by eThekwini Metro. There are roads that have been damaged by the overspillage sewage. The community needs installation of speed calming devices to create more safer roads. Access roads are in a bad state or even non-existent in some areas for such an extent that there are households that cannot be accessed even by emergency vehicles. On education, eThekwini Citizen commended the Department of Education for building the schools in their communities. On the contrary, the inadequate number of high schools in some of the wards visited remains an issue of concern. Available high schools are overcrowded and have challenges of infrastructure. There are no schools that accommodate children with special needs. Early childhood development facilities are in demand in most of the ward at eThekwini municipality. Provisions of security officers and scholar transport are in high demand at eThekwini. Most of the communities requested assistance of pointsmen to ensure safe crossing of learners in the public roads. On the health, the population have grown and more people access the current existing clinics. The overcrowding of these clinics exerts more pressure on them, and they are no longer able to service the population in the catchment areas where they are located. People travel long distances to access health services in wards outside their catchment areas. There are reported allegations of health care officials that need serious intervention by the department, and these include the behavior, attitude, and not adhering to health protocols. Hours of operation in healthcare facilities must address urgently. There is also an outcry over the shortage of the community caregivers in some wards, while some are never replaced should they retire or pass on. The inadequate number of staff and medicine at the clinics facilities was noted as a serious issue, leading to clinics unable to service the population in their catchment areas properly. Due to that, there are no clinic facilities. In other words, people end up waking up early to go and queue in the clinics. The existing clinic facilities are not suitable for persons with disabilities. On economic development, the decrease of job opportunities is a national challenge facing mostly young people. The following economic developments were requested by the people of eThekwini. Mall in the southern part, marketplace where they will be able to sell whatever they produce, and an upgrade of the Umgababa beach to attract tourists for bringing some economic investment locally. There is a need for people to be trained on the business-related skills. Complaints that local small businesses are not benefiting from local projects and that opportunities are given to unknown contractors and few local people are used to dress up were raised by many citizens during the public meetings. On the lack of on electricity, delays by the municipality to connect electricity for the community results to people doing illegal connections, and illegal connections are claiming lives. Proper electricity connection is a serious issue that needs attention. While many households reported to have electricity, the issue of load shedding was reported. Some of the electricity cuts were reported to be due to cable theft. The problem with electricity cuts impact on small businesses that employ citizens from communities. On social services and youth development, social workers are reported not to be responding to referrals for cases of gender-based violence. And there's a shortage of community caregivers. Rehabilitation centers are not having spaces when children are ready to leave drugs. SASSA and Home Affairs are not assisting communities properly as expected. Members of the public raised that there is a shortage of facility for people living with disabilities. It was also raised that some children do not have birth certificate, and as such, that children are not able to access social support. Officials from the South African Social Security Agency, SASSA, offices situated at eMakhehleni, have been reported not to be servicing people accordingly. Community members further raised that vulnerable people who take medication do not receive food parcel from the Department of Social Development. On sports and recreation, eThekwini citizens related the increase in crime due to the shortage of sport and recreational activities for the young people. People from the different wards requested that the Department of Sports and Recreation provide them with sporting facilities to ensure that their youth is kept busy while others will realize their sport talents. They reported that there are sites available and some are within the school's premises. It was encouraging that the Department of Education also accommodates sports facilities when they build new schools like Elovu Secondary School. It was stated that the current existing sporting facility were reported not to be maintained accordingly. This was coupled with the shortage of recreational facilities. On waste and solid waste management, each ward is allocated 10 vehicles for refuse collection. A number of wards were reported to be very big, which make it difficult for the allocated vehicle to cover all wards. As a result, refuse collection does not take place in some areas. There is a great outcry over the unsafe ventilated improved pit, VIP toilet. Out of the more than 24,000 units in the area, less than 24 has ever been serviced. That is dislodging, less than 24. This is a matter that has been reported to the Human Rights Commission as it runs the risk of creating a health epidemic. As it stands, there are rising tensions among residents over access to these clean toilets. Just as with the issue of overpopulation, this matter came up as one requiring urgent intervention. On community safety and liaison, community members felt that there is a poor service from South African Police Services, SAPS. Community members are concerned that SAPS do not respond urgently when crime is reported. This is attributed to the lack of vehicles and some police stations.
Isikhathi sakho leso sicelayo.
Awuzosephula lapha.
Honorable Chair, ukuthi
The request to sephule ekugcineni.
okay, from below.
There were allegations made against SAPS members that they disclosed their informants. The SAPS to the criminals, and this put the lives of informants in danger. Police stations refuses to service new city communities. On war rooms, it was reported that most of the provincial departments do not attend to war rooms, which results in many cases reported by either development facilitators of community caregivers not being resolved timelessly. The Office of the Premier should encourage all provincial departments to strictly adhere to war room attendance, and there should be consequences for those who will continue not to attend. There have been concerns about the lack of cooperation from officials of the municipality and the provincial government. Members of war rooms and steering committee attributed the failure of many development projects to the lack of cooperation between government and the community. And members of the committee even went to say that it will become nearly impossible to do something for us without us involved. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, this is the summary of the report as was adopted by the Committee of the Chairperson and shared with the Executive Department and Metro. We are therefore tabling this report for debate, adoption, and referral to the Executive. It is further requested that this report and the responses from the Department be further tracked by the Committee of the Legislature. Esikutholile sabathunywa besishaya mthetho ukuya lapha phansi. Sibonge Madam Speaker, sibonge nomusa wakho.
Siyabonga sihlalo oyihlalo uzu7 no8 minutes. Ngizocela ukuthi abahlonishwa iphone zabo bavele bazifake nje emaphaketheni zingaze zibadide. Ngiphakamisa for imizuzu eyi10 umhlonishwa uMC Fraser weANC.
Somlomo ndunankulu nesigungu sakho amalunga esishamthetho ahloniphekileyo izihambeli ezikhona nezikanye nathi ezinkundleni zokuxhumana. Ngiyanibingelela nina bengayishane kaMenzi yaphuza umlaza ngameva. Nina belembe leqamanya amalembe ngokukhalipha. Ngibonga leli thuba engilinikwe ukhongolose inqole emasondo sondo. Inhlangano yabunjwa ngamaqhawe okubala phakathi kwawo ubaba uJohn Langalibalele Dube, ubaba uMahatho, ubaba uMahabane, ubaba uJosiah Gumede, ubaba uLthuli, ubaba uPrisley Kaseme namanye amaqhawe lombutho omkhulu. Inhloso nqangi yokubunjwa kwalombutho kwakungukukhulula isizwe sakithi esimpisholo encindezelweni yamabhunu. Asifica ezweni lethu ayesasicindezela aphinda ntshontsha umhlaba wethu. Siyabonga namuhla sinamalungelo okuhlangana ezindaweni ezifana nalezi. Okukhulu kakhulu sinelungelo lokukhuluma sikhululeke kuhulumeni wethu esimkhethile. Siyabonga kukhongolose wabantu. Somlomo savakashela izindawo eziningi lapho sakhulumisana khona nomphakathi saphinde savakashela izigungu eziningi zezohwebo. Noma zikhona izinselelo kepha abantu basakholelwa kukhongolose. Somlomo kwinkulumo kamongameli wethu ubaba uRamaphosa eyasinikeza umhlahlandlela walonyaka wakubalula ukuthi kunemgomo esikhombisa uhulumeni ozosebenzela phansi kwawo. Ngivumele ngiyikhulumise lemgomo eyisisekelo sokushintsha izimpilo zabantu. Uguquko kwezomnotho nokudalwa kwamathuba emisebenzi. Umongameli wazibophezela ukuthi uza kudala amathuba omsebenzi. Nangempela kubonakala lapho kukhandwa khona ingqalasizinda macala onke. Lapha eThekwini sibonile inxanxathela emigwaqo esezingeni eliphezulu ngendlela eyisimanga. La ngikhuluma ngeHammersdale Interchange, Spaghetti, Umhlanga Interchange, Umngeni Interchange, iJohn Ross neminye imigwaqo. Uqinisekisa ukuthi amathuba omnotho avuleka kunanezingqalasizinda ezikhandwayo. Ngibala isibhedlela esikhulu esiqanjwe ngeqhawe likakhongolose uPrisley Isaiah Seme lapho kudaleke khona amathuba omsebenzi kubantu abakhele iTheku nalabo abanamakhono adingekayo kulesibhedlela. Ezemfundo amakhono nezempilo Somlomo ekuvakasheleni kwethu eThekwini sivakashele esinye sezikole esisha esezingeni eliphezulu kakhulu esizofundisa abantwana izifundo ze-maths kanye ne-technology. Igama lalesi sikole iLamesi Maths and Technology Academy. Lesi sikole Sizokukhuphula kakhulu izinga lezibalo kanye netechnology kubantu bakithi ababengavunyelwe ukufunda izibalo ngesikhathi esedlule. Ngiyamkhumbula uFervuti ethi abantu abamnyama bangafundiswa izibalo. Somlomo sivakashele nendawo okuthiwa iConubia lapho uhulumeni esakhe khona izindawo zokuhlala. Siyabonga kuhulumeni ngokubuyisa abantu bakithi emadolobheni, hayi lapho babelahlwe khona ngamabhunu. Nakhona lapho kukhandwa isikole esikaNokusho esisezingeni lomhlaba, njengoba ulayela umqulu wenkululeko ukuthi iminyango yokufunda namasiko iyovuleka. Impela isivulekile. Uqinisa isibopho sikahulumeni kubantu ngokuletha izidingonqangi ezisezingeni nokungathenjelwa kuzo. Lapha eThekwini namabhasi abizwa nge-Go Durban. Lolu olunye uhlelo lwezinhlelo esiziqhenya kakhulu ngalo singuhulumeni kaKhongolose. Ngoba umphakathi waseThekwini usunyakaza kalula okwenza nokusebenza kube lula. Siyabonga Khongolose. Ukudidiyela kwezokuhlela kwezindawo ukuhlaliswa kwabantu nohulumeni basekhaya. Kulomkhakha uKhongolose uqhuba kakhulu. Siyaqhubeka ukwakhela imiphakathi yethu izindlu. Ngizobala izinhlelo ezimbili ezintathu. Ngikhuluma ngomqhawe Rural Project, eThekwini Special Need Housing Project, Maphephetheni Rural Project, Ximba Phase 1, namanye engasawabalanga. Kuyabonakala ukuthi uhulumeni kaKhongolose impela uyawuqhubekisa iphupho lomqulu lawa uthi khona kuyokuba nezindlu ukuvikeleka nokunethezeka. Kubumbano lomphakathi nemiphakathi ephephile, maningi ama-activities enziwa yiTheku axhumanisa abantu. Somlomo ngibala o-Africa Day Celebration, ngibala o-Durban Rocks, nama-Durban Picnics. Kuningi okwenziwa umkhandlu weTheku ukuhlanganisa abantu ngokuhlukahlukana kwenhlanga zabo. Uhulumeni osebenzayo oqotho noletha intuthuko kuleli qophelo ngivumele Somlomo ngivumele eSomlomo ngibike ukuthi uhulumeni kaKhongolose uzimisele ukusebenza ngokuqotho. La kunenkohlakalo khona uyangenelela. Sonke sawuzwa umbiko wathulwa nguNdunankulu ngokwenzeka kulabo abathatha ngozwane imali ye-COVID-19. Siyathemba ukuthi okwenzekile kube isifundo nakwezinye izikhulu zeminyango. Ubese sithulela uhlelo olubizwa ngokuthi siyahlola. Lapho uzobe ebheke ukusebenza kweminyango. Siyalithakasela kakhulu lolu hlelo Somlomo. Izwekazi lase-Afrika elingcwele nomhlaba wonke, iTheku elinye lamadolobha akwazi ukuphatha abantu bangaphandle ngendlela emangalisayo. Siyabonga kakhulu. Somlomo ngimile lapha ngikhuluma ngokukhulu ukuzithemba ngoba ngemisebenzi kahulumeni kaKhongolose onakekela umuntu ngokuphelele kusukela engakabibikho abekhona afunde aphile kuze kube uyakhula akhokhobe uhulumeni lokhu mnakekele. U-ANC kuphela owazi ukuthi i-COVID-19 ilethe ingcindezi ezimpilweni zabantu. Wafaka ukhathe emalini yesondlo, imali yabantu abadala. Okukhulu kunako konke ubese bhekelela nalabo abangathathi intweni abangakafiki eminyakeni yokuthi bangathola. Sibonga kakhulu uhulumeni kaKhongolose. Somlomo ngaphezu kwezinto esezenzekile, nazi ezinye izinto ezizinselelo ebesifisa ukuthi umkhandlu kanye nohulumeni wethu uzibhekelele. Ukungathuthwa kukadoti kuyabahlukumeza abantu bakithi. Ukungabibikho kwamanzi kuyabahlukumeza. Ukuphela kukagesi kuyabahlukumeza. Izindlu zangasese kumele zilungiswe. Ukungabibikho kwey'nsiza kuma-war rooms kanye ne-billing system. Siyawuthemba uhulumeni kaKhongolose ukuthi uzobasiza abantu bethu kuzo zonke lezi zinto engiyibalayo ngoba kuningi okuhle osukwenzile. Sengiphetha nina bembube kwelikaMthaniya ngivumeleni ngiqinisekise kubantu baseThekwini ukuthi uKhongolose usazimisele nokuphucula izimpilo zabo. Ngakho-ke nathi siyabanxusa abantu baseThekwini ukuthi baqhubeke nokuvotela inhlangano yabo eyabakhipha ebugqileni. Ngikhuluma ngenhlangano kababa u-OR Tambo, ngikhuluma ngenhlangano kababa uMandela, inhlangano kababa uThabo Mbeki, ubaba uJacob Zuma, okumanje ihola ubaba uCyril Ramaphosa. Siyathemba ukuthi abantu baseThekwini njengoba besikhombisile Somlomo ekuvakasheleni kwethu eThekwini ukuthi basakholelwa kuKhongolose. Namanje bazosinikeza ithuba lokuthi singuKhongolose silungise la kumele silungise khona. Siyazikhomitha simbutho wabantu. Sithi abahlale la behleli khona. Nathi sinabo konke abakhulumile nathi ekufikeni kwethu. Sizokwenza siwuhulumeni wakaKhongolose. Ngiyabonga Somlomo.
Njalo.
The next speaker for 7 minutes for the IFP is Honorable P. Governor.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I shall commence this debate by quoting the eThekwini Metro's vision that was developed in 2020. And I quote, "By 2030, eThekwini will enjoy the reputation of being Africa's most caring and livable city where all citizens live in harmony," unquote. The reason that I quote this is because as a citizen of eThekwini, I believe that this vision can become a reality if the city can resolve the many systemic challenges that it faces in various departments within the metro. These systemic challenges are not beyond repair, and at the outset, I want to urge the city officials to urgently attend to the following issues that are of serious concern to our citizens that were raised by them when we had the public hearings. Number one, crumbling infrastructure, including roads, water pipes, and the sewer system. 2, dysfunctional billing system. 3, illegal electricity connections. 4, growing number and size of squatter settlements. 5, transit camps that are in existence for over 15 years. Madam Speaker, allow me to expand on some of these issues. When we conducted the oversight visits to projects and war rooms, citizens from all parts of eThekwini were outspoken about issues that are of concern to them. With regard to crumbling infrastructure, Madam Speaker, we find that across the city there are growing issues of burst or leaking water pipes that are occurring as a result of aging infrastructure that is not being maintained. What is of serious concern to citizens is the response time by the municipality to rectify problems. I have personally experienced this where I live. There was a water pipe leak that took 4 days and 5 teams to repair it. Each team that came out passed the buck to another team, while hundreds of liters of water was flowing down the road. The situation gets even worse when sewage overflows onto streets and even into residences. One resident told us that she had to leave her house because sewage was flowing into her yard. Madam Speaker, the Metro needs to act decisively regarding illegal electricity connections that are placing a strain on the electricity grid and very often leads to power outages. Ratepayers are up in arms since they pay for electricity and water, but those who are stealing get away with it while causing disruption to supply. In some areas, we found that street lights remain on during the day, but goes off at night, leading to security risks. Madam Speaker, I want to raise the issue of the Mobeni Heights crematorium. This facility was run by the Metro as has been out of order for the past 5 years. This is an essential service, especially during the time of COVID-19, but the Metro seems unable to get it working. With this crematorium being out of order, it is placing huge pressure on other crematoriums, as well as causing emotional trauma to grieving families and infringing on the religious rights of certain sectors of the community. I cannot understand why it would take so many years to have this facility operational again. Madam Speaker, another source of trauma to our citizens is a dysfunctional billing system. People who have been paying utility bills for around 900 Rand a month suddenly get a bill for over 50,000 Rand, and when they query this, they are told they must pay the amount and then lodge a complaint. Madam Speaker, where will senior citizens who live off their pensions find over 50,000 Rand to pay at one go? Why should they have to pay such a bill when they are not responsible for the usage? I am making an appeal here today to the City Treasurer's office to allow people who find themselves with such exorbitant bills to be allowed to pay what they have been paying over the past few months while Metro conducts its investigation and gets its house in order. It is absolutely ridiculous and emotionally stressful to expect citizens to suddenly find thousands of rands when the problem lies with the Metro billing system. This problem has been caused by the Metro, who did away with the coin system, which was working very well, and decided to experiment with a revenue management system, costing the taxpayer millions of rands. We cannot allow our citizens to be threatened with disconnections if they do not pay the huge accounts that they are not responsible for. Madam Speaker, as the Inkatha Freedom Party, we have always stated that we will give credit where it's due. In this regard, I must acknowledge some of the good work that is being done by the Metro. Durban being a major tourist destination, I welcome the improvements and upgrades along the beach promenade, which is well utilized by residents, myself included, as well as tourists. The retail and large digital printing company known as Business for Good is a triple BEE company that was funded by the KZN Growth Fund, must be commended for creating permanent jobs and contributing to the GDP of the province. The Berbies pedestrian bridge that was recently constructed has brought relief to the residents of Ward 61 and 62, especially after children drowned in that river. The construction of the new Maths and Science Academy in La Mercy is scheduled to admit its first students in January next year. This is a step in the right direction in improving maths and science standards. In Ward 100, there is a 100% black-owned company called the Elite Corp, which was established in 2018 and supported by the Agri Development Agency and produces good quality vegetables as well as canned products. This is a good example of the policy of self-help and self-reliance that the President Emeritus of the IFP, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, has always encouraged. This also demonstrates what can be achieved when citizens are encouraged and are supported by different arms of government. The development of the SMME hub in Ward 87 will go a long way towards benefiting small and micro enterprises and will create much needed jobs. The Deprived Youth Service Center that was established in Ward 74 in Lamontville is funded by the Department of Social Development, is doing well in assisting unemployed youth. In Ward 18 in Pinetown, we have the Afro-Zonka Chemicals, which is 100% black-owned company funded by the Department of Trade and Industry through the Growth Fund. Again, we see that with government support, our citizens will be able to become employers and not job seekers. Honorable Speaker, as custodians of the Constitution, we have been given the responsibility of serving the people in this province. This is our primary role, and we must ensure that we serve our people with dignity. Madam Speaker, I take this opportunity to wish all our matriculants on behalf of the Inkatha Freedom Party
The time,
every success
honourable
in the
member,
matric
has
exams.
ended.
Thank you.
Honourable members, before I call on the next speaker, I want to acknowledge the presence of the Speaker of eThekwini, a former member of this House, Councillor W.G. Thusi. Honourable members, the next member for 6 minutes is Honourable L.M. Mayor of the DA.
Just a moment, sorry. Sorry, Speaker, just one moment. Madam Speaker, the mantra in government these days is consequence management. Let me tell you a story about consequence management in an ANC-governed province. Rarely has a city been so thoroughly ruined than it has been by former Mayor Gumede in a few short years. And for doing such a great job in bringing this metro to its knees, she is rewarded with a seat in the KZN Legislature. That is the consequences for her actions. If this doesn't sum up the state of eThekwini, I do not know what does. The DA fully understands how difficult it is to keep a city of this size running. But Speaker, one starts by getting the basics right. Keep the taps flowing. Keep the lights on. Keep the buses running. Remove the refuse regularly. Keep the streets clean. Here, and this is not my opinion, or I didn't have to go to Drakensberg for a planning meeting for this, the residents that came to the public meetings has given this city 0 out of 5. Not even in this country's ever lowered pass rate does that count as a pass. This is a failing city. And I can't call it anything else but that. Because what you call a city where a ward councillor has to drive to a hardware store to buy parts for the water department to use to fix a burst, as the city had no space to stock and no way to get any. I call it failing. What do you call a city where everybody knows that the first thing you do when you wake up is to listen to the radio to see if Durban Transport is striking again, leaving the workers of the city stranded? And for bonus points, you listen to where the buses are blockading the roads to see if you're going to be late for work again. I call it failing. What do you call a city where on the morning your rubbish is supposed to be collected, you check on social media to see if the trucks are actually running that day? Ask the people of Umlazi and Lamontville what they think of DSW. What do you call a city that is generally called dirt bin? Because I call it failing. I do, however, have sympathy for Mayor Kahunda, not only because he has had to take over from what is arguably one of the most failed mayors in the history, but also because he might not even know that something is wrong in the city. The Honourable Mayor might not even know that there are problems with water and electricity and other service delivery issues. And the reason he might not know is, if we look at the report that is before this legislature, is that the residents of eThekwini can't tell anyone. The service centres and the call centres of this metro seems to be non-existent. I would like to ask of the Mayor and of the Honourable Premier, tonight, try and report a fault. Do not use your direct line to the head of the department. Call the eThekwini call centre. Don't get your PA or someone to do it yourself and time it and see how easy it is in this city to report a water outage or electricity outage. Honourable Speaker, I want to touch on something that directly affects this legislature as well: human settlements. The damage done during the 2017 storms are mentioned in this report. That is the 2017 storm we had to ask in 2020 that emergency funding be rolled over in our budget because the city has not spent it. But this is not a surprise, because this is a city that only spent 1% of the city's target for title deeds in the previous financial year. It is not a surprise if you realize that the Mayor launched a housing project in Lamontville where they are spending 1 billion rand on 400 units. That is 2.5 million rand per unit. And I've been to look at these units, and they are built without retaining walls, no bulk infrastructure like water or electricity. So I would love to know from eThekwini, what do you actually get for 2.5 million rand in this city? Lastly, I want to touch on a very important and sensitive issue, one that I've been raising for many months now. There seems to be quite a disagreement between the provincial government and the Metro Council and how much money is owed to the city. And I'm not even mentioning the monies owed by the national government in outstanding rates, taxes, and fees for services. That's if they're lucky enough to get those services. Madam Speaker, to run a city, you need money. For a city to get money, the property owners in the city must pay their bills. And if the single biggest property owner, the state, is not paying, how do we expect a city to survive? I do, however, think the fault might not be fully that of the provincial departments. As any resident of this city will tell you, and I am a resident of the city, the billing system in this metro is a mess. If you receive your bill, the readings for water and electricity is most probably estimates, or just wild guesses, or just plain wrong. Yet another way how the city is failing, and it is failing its residents. Honourable Speaker, the city manager was suspended and is still under investigation. The previous mayor was removed. She used to hold court, now she's spending her time in court. It is fitting that the previous mayor is accused of corruption related to contracts for refuse removal, because as a failing city, eThekwini is in danger of becoming a dump. But Honourable Speaker, the people of eThekwini will in the next year show you what you do with a failing city. You throw bad government out with the rubbish. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The next speaker for 9 minutes is Honourable L.G. Seja of the EFF. Chief Whip, Honorable Chief Whip, Honorable Seja. Let's wait for the Chief Whip. Mic to the Chief Whip, Honorable Service Officers.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Ngisukuma Rule 52, point of order. Abahlonishwa bayazi takunqanyulwa ngoba sikwi-chamber la. Bayazi nqamulela nje bahamba nje ngathi singaphasi kwesihlahla.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Whip. Honorable members who are coming to debate, can we take the necessary route that we're going to take, which will not, I think Honorable Mayor did take the proper route. Can we take the proper route? Thank you, Honorable members. Honorable Seja.
No, angibonge somlomo. Ngibulise kuma members. Ngibulise nalapha kwigarali kuma members. Kubalaleli lapha phezulu. We as the EFF, we are here today to participate in a debate after numerous multi-part visits to eThekwini Metro, which perceived to be the economic hub of KZN, also participated on war rooms visits. We can only conclude and further echo our observation without fear of contradictions or scoring cheap political points. The former liberation movement has failed our dejected, marginalized black masses in the eThekwini Metro and KZN province at large. The tangible and visible liberation, it's your bank accounts and your families. Oqala somlomo masivizita sihambela ama-war rooms, we have found out ukuthi ama-war rooms, they are working very hard. They are trying by all means to service our people. The problem with our rooms is with our departments. Our departments are not attending meetings in war rooms. Vele lokho akusithusike somlomo CEFF, because this is what we always say. This thing of catered deployment is the problem. Because the reason people don't attend our war rooms meetings from our departments is because they were deployed from the ANC. Now you can't hold them accountable ukuthi benze umsebenzi wabo. And then EFF still saying, lend a catered deployment ayiphele so that kuzokwazi ukuthi ama-department aperforme ngendlela. Angafiki yonke isikhathi ama-leaders e-war room ekhala ngento eyi-one. We are still saying one ward, one clinic. And this is very possible ukuthi yenze. And also, 24-hour service kuwo wonke ama-clinics, because sine-challenge ukuthi abanye abantu bagule ebusuku. Some of the people ukhona abathi like ema-clinic kunale ndawo uthola ama-nurse or abasebenzi basema-clinics kunendawo azowamolanda ama-HIVs, ama-ARVs, this is where you go. And then everyone should go there. Abanye basabe nokulanda ama-ARVs because of that kind of treatment, ukuthi they are being exposed, even if bona bebefihla ukuthi i-status sabo simi kanjani. Then kuyo yonke loo nto sikhalela ukuthi u-MEC kufanele ngabe athi intervenile. Trump is trying to intervene. The problem is with our departments. I must say this because we have seen it ourselves. You know, now we are approaching our conferences way. This is how now was when abantu are accountable, because some people that are deployed there, you want them to be delegates to vote for you into positions. That's why you can't hold them accountable. So, sine problem ga yente efana naleyo.
Honorable Seja.
We call for investigation.
Honorable Seja.
Yes,
How to Kozololo. Deputy Chief Whip. You take how to Kozololo and finish. Deputy Chief Whip.
Thank you, Speaker. I am right.
Aye, Kaul.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise on 52A on a serious point of order on the honorable member. He can't continuously casting aspersions on government officials.
No. The speaker is one, and I heard the rule. If you did not listen to the rule, if the speaker did not hear the rule, I was going to call for the rule.
We
Deputy
really
Chief Whip.
can't keep on listening to the honorable member casting aspersions on government officials who are rightfully employed by government. He continuously, it's an insult to officials and to government officials who are working to service our people. Can they be protected by us as members, including in this house, in the legislature? Somlomo ngiyabonga.
I think, Honorable Deputy Chief Whip, the honorable member can continue with his debate, and you can forward that in your own debate as your speakers come along. Honorable member?
Oh, no, thank you, Speaker. No, none of what has protect my members. Okay, that is fine. So, and also a problem
No,
is now
Honorable
health.
Senator, what have you just said?
No, I'm saying it's correct by protecting some of her members who are employed at the department.
You are out of order, Honorable Senator. Take that back.
Okay,
Withdraw
no.
that. The honorable member, listen, because you will miss it. The honorable member rose on Rule 52 and said she's raising a point of order on how you are referring to the employees. I said to her, there is a point of debate that her party is at liberty to raise at any given time. Now, you go on and you are ridiculing the point of order raised by a member. That is not how we conduct ourselves in the rule. Withdraw that, Honorable Senator.
I withdraw.
Thank you. Can we continue?
Yeah, so, and also, sinenkinga understaffing kuma health departments, more especially clinics nebhedlela. The problem inkinga esinayo lapha Somlomo. Kunama vacancies othola ukuthi akhona kuma strategic positions. Then uthola service delivery benzima ke manje ukuthi yenzeke because of lama vacants amaningi othola ukuthi awavalwa for isikhathi eside. Some of vacants uthola ukuthi ama vacancies akhona kukhulunywa ngaboma 5 years. Lokuthiwa udirector othile akekho for a period of 5 years singenayo. Lot of those vacancies angaze kube aba-occupied. And all that is the failure of the whole department. Actually, my failure in that department, we're taking a blame to the MEC, who's supposed to be the one that is overseeing everything, that everything is going in order. And also, about Dr. Namanesis, we are shorter. That's why kubanzima ama-queues ebamande, ama-clinics, abantu bekhala ngalezo zinto. I-workload ingaphezulu kwawo. Government must employ more nurses so that kuzokwazi ukuthi abantu bangaspendi the whole day umuntu ehlele clinic afike egule ekuseni agule the whole day akanamali okuthenga ukudla uloke emuva nje nama bench because sizoblame ama-nurse only to find out i-problem is with government. Kumele afake i-staff sibe enough laphayana. Also, community caregivers, they are underpaid and they should be treated with respect by the department. Those people are doing wonderful job emakhaya. They are the ones abangena bephuma door to door beshiswa ilanga melethwa imvula beshawa umoya bezama uassista abantu bakithi abagulayo. And those people are underpaid. So thina was saying, please, as government, MEC, in your department, try ukuthi abantu babhatalwe ngendlela bathole irespect ebafanele nabo. And also the problem when it comes to the municipality itself, the insourcing of eThekwini municipality security guards and cleaners, same thing should happen even in the legislature. Let us insource our cleaners and our security guards. That insourcing will provide more job opportunities and decent salaries with benefit to our people. Our people deserve. No, insourcing angayenzi komasipala. No, let me not respond to you in this.
Honorable members,
Yeah,
Nawe ke
ngoba
ngoku
manje
awundincedisi.
somlo.
Nawe awundincedisi ndibiza honorable members uba maze ukuphazamisa nawe uthetha ndithetha. Honorable Cele, Honorable Dube, you are allowed to haggle but you can't drown the speaker. Honorable Seja, continue, sir.
Thank you. We are faced with a situation of great art teachers also, like Melowishini, actually, who are demoralized because they are not paid accordingly. Honorable MEC, please zoom in and provide leadership in that. eThekwini Metro also, Mwala and Supply Chain Director also, nezinye izingane zikaThambo lezi zamakhansela esizwayo ukuthi ziphume ngebheyili emacaleni okhwabanisa. This is the reason seen a problem in civil delivery even to people, because most of money lekufanele ngabe isiza abantu lapha kuma rooms nalapha emawadini. I-problem yayo ingena emaphaketheni, iningi lawo ingena emaphaketheni. So i-looting yama-taxpayers money yenza iThekwini ngcole kakhulu. Yona imbangela lento ezikhona ezenza i-service delivery to our people singakwazi ukuthi siyibone ngendlela nabantu bahlale becomplaina njalo. Imali yabakhokhi bentela kufanele impela ifunwe ngesandla esinzima ingalo yomthetho. Nempendulo futhi sisayilindele ngoba EFF has written letters to MECs, all departments, that MECs actually they never respond, because all departments we have tried by all means that they must report ukuthi bayenzeni noma bayisebenzisa kanjani noma azosebenzisa kanjani imali e-COVID-19 njoba kade si-COVID-19, but all those departments, they never respond. I think except the Speaker's office that has responded to us. And also by writing all those letters to MECs, we did this deliberately because we know you can easily give bank keys to the ANC without outlining clear guiding policy. Even when there's a policy, you are the best on maneuvering and loot taxpayers' money.
Thank you, Honorable
No,
Seja.
thank you very much, Gabanga.
Honorable Seja, Honorable Seja, Honorable Seja, Honorable Seja. This way, sir. Honorable Seja, this way, sir. The next speaker for 10 minutes from the ANC is Honorable ZLI Cele.
Honorable Speaker, ngicela ukubingelela Ndunankulu wesifundazwe saKwaZulu-Natal, ongqongqoshe beminyango, amalunga ahloniphekile endlu esishayamthetho, izakhamuzi zonke zaseThekwini namaphethelo, ngithi kunina bengabadi ngiyabingelela. Honorable Mayor, the city that is failing is Cape Town. Lapho esabona khona komabonakude indoda ishawa nqunu ikhishwe endlini kunesikhathi seCovid. Iyona ke isithi elifelayo. Phumani ezindabeni zikaKhongolose. Libhekezeni. Ngicela ukuthatha ithuba ngibonge inhlangano yami African National Congress ngokungipha ithuba lokuba ngibe ingxenye yalenkulumo mpikiswano kulolu hlelo lokuthatha ishayamthetho sesifundazwe saKwaZulu-Natal siye ebantwini.
Honorable Cele khawuthathe uthi gozololo. Mhlonishwa Nyembe. Ngizomuzwa kanjani ke manje mhlonishwa uNtshangase?
Speaker,
Ngizomuzwa kanjani? Uxolo kancane. Bahlonishwa, ngizomuzwa kanjani umhlonishwa uma niqala kwanina nimemeze ngikakhuluma?
Oh, thank you, Speaker. I'm rising on Rule 52D.
Uthini?
No, qhubeleka.
Speaker, can you please reprimand that rented crowd there?
No.
They are participating in this debate.
No. Sit
They
down.
must allow this debate to flow. That
Sit
rented
down.
crowd there, you must
Honorable
reprimand them.
Honorable Twala.
Please.
Twala.
Thanks. They are not part of this sitting. So they must.
Twala. Honorable Twala. Wemhlonishwa uThwala. Ngenzela kusasa irule obefanele busukume ngayo nje bekuyi point of order Honorable 52 ungaziyofika kodini. Honorable members of the legislature makube khona umehluko kunina nabanye abantu abangebona amalunga ngiyacela namhlanje. Bahlali baseThekwini amakhansela ngiyawabona akakhanga hluphe. Bahlali baseThekwini aniyona ingxenye yengxoxo mpikiswano. Ngiyacela umphakathi omuhle ningabi yingxenye ngokushaya izandla nangokunanela inkulumo. Uma unento oyizwayo uyizwele ngaphakathi ungazenzi ingxenye. Ngicela uqhubeke emhlonishwa ucela.
Cela ukubingelela nina bakanogwaza eguqile okwethole likandaba. Nina bakanhlamvana bulumlilo endulinde. Nina bakalanga selihlule sesingamavikithi. Nina benkayishana kamenzi eyaphuza umlaza ngameva. Nina bakabhekejana ephuma esiqikwini. Sithi bhejana ephuma esiqikwini. Sithi isintu sakithi injobe enhle ethungelwa ebandla. Mhlonishwa somlomo ngifisa ukuqala lapha. Umsebenzi weshaya umthetho ohlukaniswe kathathu. Okokuqala ukushaya imithetho, okwesibili ukuvumela umphakathi ukuba ube yingxenye yokusebenza kweshaya umthetho. Bese kuthi okwesithathu kube ukubheka umsebenzi owenziwa eminyango kahulumeni njengoba izimali zokusebenza kwawo ziqhamuka kushaya umthetho. Lolu chungechunge lwemihlangano ebesinayo kulenyanga edlule ekuyiyo esibeke lapha besibheka ukusebenza kukahulumeni emazingeni aphansi. Izingqinamba ezitholakala kuma war rooms kuzomela uhulumeni azibheke futhi azifakele amehlo ikakhulukazi nemali mangabe sekubeka uhlehlo mali eminyakeni ozayo. Nina bembube ngenkathi sithatha izwe ngokuhlanganyela nabantu basemzansi neAfrika silibuyisela ebantwini silihlwitha kumbuso wencindezelo wamabhunu ukhongolose wabantu wawufuna ukushintsha izimpilo zabantu zibe ngcono ngazo zonke izindlela zempilo. Namanje sisazibophezele kulokho futhi siyakuqonda ukuthi ngeke konke kwenzeke ngesikhathi esisodwa kuzothatha isikhashana. Kodwa ukhona umehluko ophathekayo siyawubona. Uyasebenza nina bengabadi uhulumeni wenu enawuvotela emini kabha. Ukwenzile ukuthi kushintshe okuningi ukuthi abantu bakithi
ucele kancane. Mhlonishwa upurpose. Mhlonishwa ucele uyabuza umhlonishwa upurpose ukuthi ungawuthatha yini umbuzo.
Ngicela qala aphendule ukuthi bamenzeni umbali intuli bese ngiyakwaziki.
Is that a yes or no?
Akazuthatha okwamanje mhlonishwa.
Ngiyabonga Speaker.
Nimenzeni umbali wepurpose? Ohlale phansi. Uma sibheka ukusebenza kwamaphoyisa lapho kusifunda saseThekwini akujabulisi ngoba sibona ubugebengu bubukhulu kakhulu. Asisho kodwa ukuthi akwenziwa lutho ngalokho. Kukhona okuhle abakwenzile nabakwenzayo. Akhona amaphoyisa asebenzayo, akhona futhi agangayo. iTheku linama police station awu45. Ayengekho ke thina sisakhula ama police station. Siyabonga ukhongolozi. Akhona eMpumalanga yeTheku, eNtshonalanga, maphakathi neTheku, enyakatho, eningizimu yeTheku. Yebo siyavuma. Awanele. ngoba isifiso ukuthi kube nama police station iwadi newadi. Siyazazi izingqinamba esibhekene nazo zobugebengu ezindaweni zangakithi. Ko Lamonti, eMlazi, Ntuzuma, kwaMashu, Inanda, Phoenix, Chatsworth, ko Molweni nako Mascha, nakwezinye izindawo ezakhele eTheku. Ukudlwengulwa nokubulawa kwabantwana nabantu besimame, izidakamizwa, ukudunwa kwezimoto, imali nempahla, ukubanjwa kwenkunzi kwabantu kanye nezitolo, inkohlakalo nokunye okuningi. Lokhu ukutholeka kakhulukazi emalokishini kanye nasey'ndaweni zasemakhaya koXimba, Maqadini, Ntshanga nakoNtshongweni nakwezinye izindawo. Izinselelo esibhekene nazo njengabahlali esiphoyiseni ukushoda kwezinsiza kusebenza njengezimoto zamaphoyisa. Ngenxa yokuthi eziningi zalezi imoto Mphemba ziyahamba ziyokhandwa isikhathi eside. Siyacela ke Mphemba ukuthi sikudecentralize ukukhandwa kwezimoto. Kube baningi abantu abazikhandayo izimoto ngoba zihlala isikhathi esiningi zingekho instead zokuthi zibe khona zikwazi ukuthi zisize umphakathi uma ngabe ufona udinga usizo. Amaphoyisa Mphemba awafunde ukuhlonipha abantu bakithi, ikakhulukazi abantu besifazane. Kuzomela njengeshamthetho siqinisekise ukuthi umthetho webathopele uyagcina. Asikwazi ukuba nabasebenzi bakahulumeni abangahloniphi, abangabazi nokuthi abantu bayini, ekumeni abantu ibona abaphethe izwe ngoba ibona phela abavotela uhulumeni. Ngalokho Mphemba ungahlonishwa kwabantu khombisa konke abanye babasebenzi bakahulumeni abekho patriotic okusho ukuthi abalithandi izwe labo. Komele baxoshwe bangabibikho emsebenzini. Ubugebengu eThekwini bunyuke kakhulu. Esikubonayo ukuthi akukho kubambisana phakathi komphakathi namaphoyisa. Futhi inkinga esibhekene nayo kakhulu ile yama ballistic reports, ezibhamu nama DNA nama forensic testing. Kuyahamba kungabuyi ngesikhathi, kuthathe kwesinye isikhathi unyaka wonke ukuthi kubuye. Mphemba sicela ukuthi nalokhu ama laboratories ekuyiwe efanele enze lama test forensic nama DNA nawo a decentralized. Sithole amanye ama private labs azokwazi ukuthi asize amaphoyisa nasemacaleni ukuze amacala asheshe aphele Mphemba. Kunjalo kodwa siyabathemba amaphoyisa ngoba akhona akwenzayo ukuhle. Asisho ukuthi konke kubi. Ayikho into ebuhlungu Mphemba njengokuthi abantu bakithi kumele baze bamashele ipolice station ukuze bazwakalise ulaka labo. Siyacela ukuthi lokhu kwehle kancane. Amaphoyisa nesiphoyisa sonke kuthathe serious into yobugebengu esibhekene nayo ey'ndaweni zasemakhaya. Melano nogesi somlomo kuningi kakhulu osekwenziwe ngokufaka kagesi. Abantu abaningi eThekwini up to 99% sebewufakelwe ugesi. Kodwa khona lapho ekusashoda khona kancane. Izinkinga zokutshontshwa kagesi kudla imali enkulu emkhandlwini waseThekwini. Umbiko womkhandlu ka-2019-20 usitshela ukuthi umkhandlu ulahlekelwe imali engango-637 million ngokutshontshwa nje kwamakhebuli nokulahleka kagesi. Lokhu kubuyisela emuva ukusebenza komkhandlu. Siyacela ukuthi nikubhekisise njengomkhandlu. Hlonishwa Mayor Kaunda, siyazi nizama kakhulu ngakho konke ukulungisa into yokuhamba kagesi namanzi ezindaweni zasemakhaya. Lokhu kudalwa ukuthi sebebaningi kakhulu abantu bakithi asebefakelwe ugesi okubanga ukuthi uhlelo lokuhambisa ugesi lusindelwe. Kodwa akukuhle ukuthi abantu balokhu bekhala ngokuhamba kwalogesi. Komele sikufakele izibuko ubuxhakaxhaka lokhu sibuqinise ukuthi bukwazi ukuthi abantu bawuthole ugesi kahle kanye namanzi. Somlomo izindawo zokuzikhulula sezakhiwe ezindaweni eziningi. Kodwa kuyabonakala ukuthi sisashawa ukulungisa amapayipi okuthutha indle namanzi. Emalokishini amaningi ko-Catocrest Ward 101 izitamkoko zakhona ziblockile. KwaMashu esiteshini somlomo uchichiza indle. Bahlonishwe ezindaweni eziningi sibhekene nayo lenkinga. Siyaphinda futhi sikhala ngabasebenzi bomkhandlu. ukuthi uma ngabe kukhona abasebenzi abangawenzi kahle umsebenzi, Honorable Mayor, abathathwe phela bayohlala ekhaya. Kuthathwe abasebenzi abafisayo ukusebenzela uhulumeni nabantu babo. Kuqashwe abantu vele sinenkinga yokuthi imisebenzi ayikho. Ongafuni ukusebenza akahlala ekhaya. Njengoba sibhekene ne-COVID-19, ukuxhixa kwemigaqo nama-toilet kubanga izifo. Siyacela kusukunyelwe. Nina bengabadi akumele sime phambi kwenu sikhulume ngathi konke kuhamba kahle. Kanti kukhona okungahambi ngendlela. Siyazi ukuthi umkhandlu wenza lukhulu ukuthi kulungiswe imihosha ekuhlaleni. Iyona esisiza ukuthi singabi nezikhukhula uma linethile. Okusijabulisa kakhulu ukuthi umasipala weTheku usebenzisana nama-cooperative eklinini kwale mihosha. Okusiza ukuxosha ikati eziko kulabantu abangathathi entweni. Mhlonishwa Mayor, kunomhosha waka-J eMlazi Ward 83 odlula phakathi kwaka-L naka-M ogudla isolezo. Siyacela ulungiswe ngoba uma ungalungiswa abantu bazomuka. Ngiyabonga. Amandla.
Mhlonishwa ucele. Wemhlonishwa ucele asibe sisawakhuza amandla endlini. Ehloniphekile. Asikwenzi lokho. Umhlonishwa olandelayo imizuzu emithathu ngumhlonishwa uVR Mlotshwa we-NFP.
Uyozingela ngomdlwana.
Mhlonishwa Somlomo. Mhlonishwa Somlomo, kuyintokozo enkulu kithi njengamalunga esishamthetho ukuba usilethe lapha kwelikaBhanani idolobha. Njengokubalula komthetho sisekelo walelizwe. Uma silalela abantu abakhele lomkhandlu uzwe isililo sendlovukazi uNandi. Abantu bekhipha ingoyiluko engaphakathi kubo ngokugqoza nokuza kwentuthuko kubo ngonyawo lonwabo. Lokhu kuphenduka impambankwici kubantu. Umbiko uyaphambana. Umbiko othulwe abaphathiswa nombiko nezikhalo zabantu akuhlangani. Okusho kona Somlomo kuba kumele lolu hlelo lwakho lokuhambela imiphakathi sigxile kulo ukuze kulunge izinto. Imithonseyane yentuthuko Somlomo okukhulunywa ngayo igcina ifuhlelwe eMlazi lapho vele okungcono khona bese besala bencela izithupha abakwezinye izindawo. Izigceme eziningana zilila ngama-departments athize njengo-DSD, uSAPS, uDOT, uCOGTA ukuthi abenzi kahle emphakathini abayisebenzelayo futhi ukuxhumana kwabo nomphakathi akukuhle. Kumele ongqongqoshe abaphathiswe leminyango basukume. Kuliqiniso elingephikwe ukuthi indle okukhalwa ngayo ichinciliza phakathi kwabantu. Izihluzo manje eziseduze kwabantu asinakiwe okuthelela ukugula kubantu. Ibukeka intuthuko yeThekwini namehlo ibona abathize mayifika kwabathize ivala amehlo. Okumele ubaba umeya isukumele le ndaba hlezi imthele ngodaka. Maye ngasukumi kuvelile futhi ukuthi ukulwa ukuthi kulalwa kungaqashiwe kuvuke ekseni sekuqashiwe. Abanjani abaqashwe ebusuku abanye belele. Sizwile inkohlakalo yomkhandlu ukuthi makuzoqashwa amaphoyisa kwakuthiwa kulethwa abantu nokho kungasenzeki manje. osekuvele kutholakale eseqashiwe. Ngiyabonga Somlomo.
Isona isikhathi. The next member for 3 minutes is Honorable EThekwini Rajbanzi of the MF. Honorable EThekwini Rajbanzi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker and Premier, development is changed. We have a lot more to accomplish, though. Therefore, the MF recommends the following. Firstly, the sooner we provincialize eThekwini clinics, the better in terms of control and service delivery consistency. War rooms functionality projected huge challenges everywhere. A departmental roster system needs to be implemented and circulated to all constituency and council offices for better coordination. Appropriate training for CHWs and CCGs needs budgeting in terms of their job description and communication skills. Honorable Premier, Program 3 on Population Development and Research in DSD should be tasked with engaging strategically with growing urban populations to provide compelling evidence of their needs to influence policymakers. This strategic engagement will assist in accountable and critical and meaningful development. The fact that eThekwini's demarcation is encroached towards the northern belt means that the outer-lying areas have become more affected. Therefore, the eThekwini IDP should be further split into urban, peri-urban, and semi-rural renewable projects to address roads, ablution, water, electricity, and service delivery issues. I was fascinated by the beauty of the Inanda Dam, so much like Switzerland. The topography is ideal for river and dam value chain. With so much youth unemployment in Kwangolosi, for example, and the cry for help from the SMMEs, from the young women, the ideas just flow like a river. The MF's view is that the unchecked human settlements developments along the river and dam needs urgent intervention by the environmental unit. A proper EIA and scoping should be done along the river and dam for aquaculture, hydroponic farming, and Inanda River tours and cruises. There's, of course, lodges being developed there, but the riverbanks can be redesigned for a running and a biking path like the Charles River in Boston, the US. Honorable Premier, where there's a political will, there's a people's way, and we must consider these. The roads and schools have legal considerations because they are either on private farms or they belong to incourses respectively. However, the intercession to maintain or expand these must be resolved by regulations and memoranda of understanding amongst all spheres of government. The complaints against councils not taking initiatives to deal with provincial departments is important, and they must be attended to by the political parties concerned. Conducive transport modes and methods should focus on railway networks being resuscitated as well as pedestrian bridges being built, given the rough terrain in many of the areas. Finally, crime is really prevalent, and there must be a review on the building of more mobile police stations where people require them, lest they become white elephants like in Mulvaney. Finally, I want to say that we were very proud to engage with local businesses, and I really appreciate the Growth Fund injection and how well certain businesses are doing, but I was...
Thank you,
yes, Honorable Speaker, I want to support the TLTP eThekwini report with these comments.
The time has expired, Honorable Member.
Thank you.
Speaker on the speaker's list for 3 minutes is Honorable M.E. Pagati of the ATM. We have received an apology earlier on, and we have not received any indication that the speech was given to any member. Followed by, for 3 minutes, by Honorable S.E. Manuele of the ACDP, who is having a family bereavement. And I have also not received any indication for invoking Rule 73. Ukhona? Therefore, honorable members, the next speech for 10 minutes for the ANC is Honorable N.M. Sibiya.
Sibonge kakhulu somlomo wesishayamthetho, sibingelele undunankulu ongekho phakathi kwethu kodwa uxhumene kanye nathi amalunga esishayamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal akhona la, abantu bakithi esibathandayo abakhona la ngaphakathi ababingelela. Somlomo ngifisa nje ukuqala ngento encane angizukuba mude kukhona. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi njengoba sibe nalolu hlelo lokuthatha isishayamthetho sisilethe kubantu besiqale saya nakubantu ezindaweni zabo abahlala kuzona, kukhona nabantu bakithi abakhona la ngaphakathi. Somlomo ukusuka kwemember noma ilunga lesishayamthetho liphakame libize abantu bakithi esibahloniphayo nge-rented crowd, kutshengisa ukuthi basihlaza kangakanani amanye amalunga esishayamthetho. Somlomo kusale kancane ukuthi leli lunga lesishayamthetho lithi abantu must shut up. Silibonile lizibamba Somlomo kwavela ukuthi liphuma ekhaya elinjani neqembu elinjani, iqembu lezigcwelegcwele Somlomo. Akulona iqembu ongalithatha ulise ebantwini. Kutshengisa ubuhlaza ongakazi ukubone Somlomo, and ingakho abantu bakithi bengeke bekholelwe kubona. Somlomo kusukuma abanye.
Honorable Spear, Honorable Nyembe, Honorable Twala, utheni ndimbiza ngesibongo esirongo. Honorable Twala.
I'm rising on Rule 52, Speaker.
Yes.
In concurrence with I want Speaker to please rule as per Rule 50. Irrelevance.
Okay.
And the remarks which were said by the very member on the podium. No one is going to police any engagements here. We are going to raise point of orders with any fear of contradiction.
Honorable.
That is the rented crowd, and I maintain that.
Honorable.
It's a rented crowd.
Honorable.
Now, as to what my background is,
Honorable.
and
Honorable Twala.
and where I come from, it's not a matter to be debated here.
Honorable Twala.
I will raise it with any fear of contradiction.
Honorable
That's
Twala.
a rented crowd. I maintain that.
Honorable
I maintain it.
Honorable
So we're not going to be intimidated here.
Honorable Twala.
When we are participating in this debate, that crowd was participating here.
You are now intimidating
It was participating here.
Honorable Twala, sit down.
Now people are not.
Honorable Twala, sit down. I want to rule on what you have raised. You said you want to raise point of order. Then you said you are going to ask me to rule in terms of Rule 56. When I looked at Rule 56, is member ordered to withdraw. The rule that you referred me to, Rule 56, is saying if the presiding officer is of the opinion that a member is deliberately contravening a provision of this rule, or that member is in contempt or is disregarding the authority of the presiding officer, or that a member's conduct is grossly disorderly, he or she may order the member to withdraw. You did not speak anything that speaks to gross disorderly, but you bordered on being grossly disorderly in this house. I requested you to sit down, you did not. You said I must tell the honorable member that is irrelevant. The honorable member failed also to understand that is Rule 55. And Rule 55, again, like Rule 56, is a rule empowering the presiding officer, after having called attention to the conduct of a member who persists in irrelevance or reputation. For now, I have not called Honorable Spear or any member. I remember since I assumed, no member have I called him or her to be irrelevant or in reputation whenever they were debating. I have not done that. So the rule that you raised is irrelevant. For the first time, I am calling someone to be irrelevant. You've raised an irrelevant rule, Honorable, and therefore there is no order that you are raising. Honorable Spear will continue with his debate.
Angibonge somlomo ngazalelwa emakhaya la engiphuma khona kuthiwa igwala ulizwa ngokukhuluma lisukume limemeze ubone ukuthi umnqolo ogombotsheni ubone ukuthi akuyona insizwa ngempela le somlomo ngiyafisa nje ukuthi somlomo again abantu bakithi uma behleli lapha bayazibuza nje ukuthi ngempela abantu abaqhamuka emaqenjini aphikisayo abantu ababetheni laba bayakhalaza kuphela azikho icazululo abeza nazo bonke ngokulandelana kwabo yingakho abantu bakithi somlomo beqhubeka bevotela iANC ngoba thina la kwakhongolose siza nezixazululo sakhelwe phezulu kwezixazululo bazoqhubeka bamemeze somlomo bayikhonkotha imoto ehambayo ihambe futhi ingami ngoba ukuyikhonkotha kusho ukuthi izoma sizoqhubeka sa
Ngicela uhoxise lelo ukuthi amalungu azakhonkotha.
Ngiyalihoxisa somlomo lokukhonkotha abantu bezaqhubeka ihambe bazibasha amazwi somlomo asikusho ukuthi bakhona kwethu la njengesishamthetho ngeANC yasesishamthetho angeke sikuphike ukuthi umsebenzi sihlalelo kufanele siwenze kuningi kakhulu abantu bakithi abasadinga kwezentuthuko nokufanele sikhambise kubona kodwa somlomo akekho ngasukuma la akuphike ukuthi umsebenzi osuwenziwe mkhulu kangakanani akekho somlomo ongasukuma phike la ukuthi kuyiwa phambili kuphela akuhlehlelwe emumva uma uthatha itheku ulibuka namhlanje la ilikhona uhamba uye kubona wonke amalokishi uyindaweni ezisemakhaya kusukela ngo1994 kwathatha iANC akekho ongasukuma kuphike la ukuthi siyaphambili umuntu ongaboni ongafuni ukubona ngoba kodwa enawo amehlo okubona ukuthi kuyayiwa phambili akubuyelwe emumva ziningi kakhulu izinto esingakhuluma ngazo somlomo yabona ke la somlomo asikhulumi ngenzwa bethi sikhuluma ngezinto ozibonayo ozithintayo ongenayo kuzona uhlale kuzona ubone ukuthi ukhongolose uyaqhubeka uyaphambili kuphela abantu into abafisa ukuyenza njengoba sizodebate la bacabanga ukuthi kuba khona komphakathi nokuba neaccess yabantu ngoba abakwazi ukuthola ngale ngaphandle baze kube isishamthetho esibakhela ithuba lokuhlangana nabantu bese bengakwazi nokuzilungiselela simbonile omunye umhlonishwa la indlela angingize ngayo uzuzibuza ukuthi ngempela leli qembu lanikwa kanjani ithuba nabantu abalimele esishamthetho babantu abakhetheka kanjani ngisho sebenikwa ithuba lokukhuluma nabantu kuyabehlula ukukhuluma nabantu uzibuza ukuthi yimapha ama solutions abangeza nawo esishamthetho abantu bayazibonela niyabonwa ngapha kwa left somlomo asiqhubeke sisho ukuthi somlomo
Honorable Spear Mhlonisha Dokotela Kika
Rule 52, Madam Speaker, point of order. More on a point of privilege. The Honorable Rogers is trying to raise a point of order, but is not being recognized.
Honorable Rogers, we apologize for not recognizing you. I keep looking there at my screen, but I did not see you. I always see the people that are raising their hands in the screen that is in front of me. Can we give you the opportunity, Honorable Rogers?
Yabulela Somlom, warise rule 50 namhlanje.
Rule 50.
Ibo.
Ndikudedele Mhlonishwa.
Amnceda ke Somlom bafuna mazi le tie wafakile le mhlonishwa uJomo Sibiya namhlanje ithaya kamakhongolose lento.
Awuphenduke Mhlonishwa uSibiya ngibukwe uthayi. Oh, uthayi Mhlonishwa Rogers uthayi lo ohlala ufakwa nangelinye ilanga wawuke wakhala ngawo sase siyarula kuwona wena uyawazi kama rules ngiyathemba nje ukuthi namhlanje uyazenzela nje Mhlonishwa wethu qhubeleka Mhlonishwa Sibiya
abantu bezizungu Rogers somlomo abanje abawo somahlaya somlomo sitshelele nje ukuthi ngo1994 babone uthatha uzobuso wathatha isinqumo sokuthi ezemfundo uzibeke eqhulwini ngesilungu wazibiza ngeApex program yakhe lokhu somlomo asigcinanga ngokusho nje siwukhongolose kodwa sakwenza kuyacaca kuyabonakala namhlanje ukuthi uma ubheka imfundo la isuka khona uyibuka uyithatha uyibheka namhlanje ukuthi sikuphi uyalibona ibanga eselihanjiwe somlomo uyabona ukuthi njengoba sikhuluma nje sila singakusho ukuthi kuleli theku likababa uDube uzobona ukuthi ngendlela umsebenzi owenziwa ngayo kwakhiwa izikole kunama projects somlomo amakhulu awu9 esinawo la engifuna nje ukuthi ngizobala lo9 kuphela omkhulu unalesi sikole osekukhulunywe ngaso kakhulu uzibuza ukuthi abanye onomgogwana babe ngesakhi ngani ngenkathi obaba babo besaphethe esibizwa ngelamesi esibiza 255 million rand somlomo esinobuxhakaxhaka nobuchwepheshe besimanje manje obuzoshintsha kakhulu ukufunda kwezingane zethu zakha ezinye izikole ezifana neJG Zuma esibiza 109 million rands kulo leli theku zakha iThongathi special school sezingane zakithi ezingakwazi ukuzenzela ezinye izinto ngo209 million Inanda Special School somlomo esiyakha ngo217 million iLovu Secondary School ebiza u57.2 million inqobane ngo56 million iKholingude ebiza u87 million iChief Lokothwayo ebiza u16.2 million somlomo neSolomon Mahlangu ebiza u60 million elapha eKhonupi somlomo zonke lezi zikole engikhuluma ngazo zikuleli theku kuphela lezi zikole ngikhuluma ngazo ziyakhiwa ezinye sizobe sizivula kuqala lonyaka esiyowuqala ukhuluma ngeLovu ukhuluma ngeLamesi zonke lezi zikole ekuzothi uma kuvula unyaka izingane zakithi zobe ifundele ezikoleni ezibizwa nge-state of the art schools somlomo uANC somlomo uyasebenza uzibekile phansi kuningi kakhulu esingakukhuluma eminyangweni wezemfundo njengamanje umnyango wenze konke okusemandleni ukuthi ngendlela entsha yokufunda somlomo ebizwa nge-e-learning eyenziwa emazweni ngamazwe lemnyango wezemfundo la eThekwini izikole eziningi sesishintshile indlela yokufunda safaka ubuxhakaxhaka safaka ama-computer safaka ama-iPad sanikeza othisha indlela ezintsha zokufunda ngoba izingane zakithi sifuna zilingane nazo zonke izingane zamazwe omhlaba hayi into eyenziwayo nomgogwana bangapha kwamsomlomo somlomo ngiyafuna nje ukuthi ngisho ukuthi indlela okusetshenzwa ngayo akekho ayikwacabanga ukuthi kunohulumeni onganikeza izingane zakithi amabhasi etransport ukuthi ikwazi ukuhamba ngawo mahala ungakhokhi ngisho nesent kwakubukela kuyinto engathi ngaba isimanga kodwa lo hulumeni kaKhongolose uyakwenza kulo leli theku lakithi somlomo asikhulumi ngaphandle lokho kukucaciselayo ukuthi ngempela imoto iyahamba iyaphambili ayimile kodwa siyaqhubeka siyasebenza somlomo ungaqhubeka nje abafarisi laba bangapha kwa left bazikhulumela izinto abazishoyo uma ubheka umnyango wezempilo la KwaZulu-Natal indlela osebenze ngayo nosebenza ngayo somlomo uzozibona ukuthi uma uhamba uye Inc ngapha koNanda Ntuzuma uzobona ukuthi umsebenzi ungakanani owenziwayo ukwakhiwa kwalesi sibhedlela sedumela ontaba kayikhonjwa bakhuluma ngaso nabo uzobona ukuthi umsebenzi ungakanani esiwenzayo somlomo lesa sibhedlela sizoyishintsha iaccess yezempilo ngapha eNorth ngoba abantu bakithi bazokwazi manje ukuthi bathole ezempilo eziseqophelweni eliphezulu isibhedlela esisezingeni lomhlaba esinemibhede engaphezulu ka500 sizoqasha ke lapha somlomo uhulumeni uzoqasha uhealth uzoqasha from scratch ngishikade elizobe likulesa sibhedlela somlomo lobelilisha somlomo kulesa sibhedlela akukho noyedwa umuntu ozoqashwa ngendlela engafanele njengesishamthetho siyoqinisekisa kanti nomnyango wezempilo uyaqinisekisa ukuthi abekho abantu abayoqashwa emakhoneni kodwa abafarisi uyozwa ngelinye ilanga ngoba phela uma umfarisi ukholelwa emangeni kuphela boqala bakhe amagama angekho namanga bathi kukhona okwenzakalayo wonke umuntu oyoqashwa kulesa sibhedlela uyoqashwa ngendlela evulelekile uhulumeni aqasha ngayo ayikho enye indlela okuyokwenziwa ngayo siubonile umnyango wezempilo usebenza ngokukhula amandla somlomo sibhekene nesimo seCovid-19 kulida umongameli ubaba uPresident Ramaphosa no-MEC wethu la KwaZulu-Natal elida i-team yakhe umama uNomagugu sabona besebenza ngamandla la sonke sasizitshela khona ukuthi ubhubhane la KwaZulu-Natal ngoba laqala khona luzoshaya uzamcolo oyosiqeda nya kodwa indlela uKhongolose ulidwa uMEC okusetshenzwe ngayo njenge-department savinjwa isifo sabona iKwaZulu-Natal istabilizer yehla izinga le-COVID-19 sonke namhlanje siyakwazi ukuhlala la siphile sabuyiselwa isimo esimeni esijwayelekile ngenxa yokusebenza namakhono namava abantu abakhokhela iminyango esinayo uKhongolose-ke loyo uqhuba njalo yabona somlomo kulula ukukhuluma kunokwenza bayazikhulumela nje ngapha somlomo bonke abekho abenzayo ababanjiswe lutho yithi kuphela esiphathisiwe so kulula kubona ukukhuluma bangcofe ukhongolose ngoba abananto abazobuya ngakusasa abazoyi-accountela thina owethu umsebenzi ukulalela abantu basho izinto idemocracy esayiletha njengoba bekwenzeka nayizolo salalela sakuthatha konke abakushoyo sakwamukela futhi kamnandi sifunda okuningi ukuthi yini ezinye izinto okufanele sizenze idemocracy ke leyo esiyivikelayo njengoba namhlanje usunabantu abawosikhuniphambana nobhoka abavele basukume bakhomba abantu lapha phezulu somlomo asikusho ukuthi la isibhedlela osithola lapha eClearwood ebesikade siyisibhedlela esiyisibhedlela azamaningi lamawashi somlomo hey madoda mongameli siyabonga somlomo thank you very much.
The next speaker for 6 minutes is Honorable Z.M. Mwanga of the DA.
Ngiyayikhipha uyangihlupha. Angibonge somlomo. Somlomo ngiyafisa nje uqale mhlambe umuntu akhulume kwenzeka izolo. Ngoba sengathi khona ukuhlazile njengesishamthetho okwenzekela izolo. KuRisotobe ngizothi nje kuwe usifumbu boniqhaqhazela. Bese ngithi ukusiphatha somlomo kongqongqoshe izolo kuveze ngokusobala ukuthi uANC awunandaba nomphakathi waZulu-Natal. Ngizobuye futhi ngiyize kuNelu Fraser ngoba abantu bakhale ngezindlu njengo Ward 89 kodwa yena uthi abantu abahlala abakhona ekubeni bethe bahlala ama-Thousand Camp since 2009. Ngizonitshela ke mina ngoba ngimsabe nina Khongolose. Yekani khukhumala. Zehliseni. You will never lose anything by saying I'm sorry. Izolo ngiqale program late. Did you apologize? No. All MECs spoke more than allocated time. Did you apologize? No. In fact, they wasted isikhathi sabo besabingelelana nje. And bephinda imibuzo eyishiwo abantu namagama abantu kodwa ama-answers abaphendulanga into abayifuna abantu. Some MECs didn't even send apologies before basukela. Uma ukhala umphakathi ngalokho nahomzela. Yekani ukwanda ngomlomo njengembenge. Yekani ukuba zimbulu ezikhala ngamayiko amabili. Kodwa lokhu nokhela umlilo niuyeke. Niyafana nabantu abaphuma emanzini bephethe ilahle.
Ithini mbenge?
Why do you get emotional when umphakathi ukhononda izolo ngokungayiphathi kwenu? Why can't you take criticism as being constructive? Bantshelile abantu ukuthi anihloniphi isikhathi, anihloniphi ukuthi abantu baseHegweni bahloniphi nikhomisile ngalokho. Somlomo asisho siqembu leDA ukuthi sisokole kakhulu ngendlela okuphendule ngayo abantu baseThekwini ukuthi abantu abahola more than R1 million bagxeke abantu abangaholi babenza umsebenzi kuma ward committees nama war room kube yibona abathi badinga ukuqeqeshwa ekubeni kungamalungu eshamthetho angawenza umsebenzi wawo kakhulukazi ongqongqoshe. Abantu baseThekwini bakuveza ukusobala kulama oversight ukuthi sinenkinga when it comes to transparency and accountability. And ama department ethu ayahluleka uku-account and there's no transparency. Lokho somlomo ngizokusho ngoba kunembuzo engaphenduleki ukuthi kungani abantu besahleli kuma-Thousand Camp iminyaka emingaka kodwa masifika lana impendulo azikho. Kunombuzo othi kungani imigwaqo yakhiwa kusuka 2026 kuze namhlanje there is no one who's accounted kodwa imali yasebenziswa. Kunembuzo ethi kunemali sibonele nje lapha kwa95 kunemali eallocatedwa for a project to date ayikho project kodwa akho umuntu accounting. Esisibonelo kuward 81 lapha yakuthiwa kwathathwa isoyi kuzwakhiwa iproject ngo2017 kwaqashwa iCLO. Kuzobe namhlanje kodwa akho impendulo eyikhona ukuthi kungani iproject ingekho. eTonville kakuyingcenye yokuya khona ku-direction eTonville kwakunembuzo ngezindlu kodwa azikho impendulo eyinikezwa abantu. Bayabuza abantu nayizolo ukuthi uma sibuyele emuva sokufika sithini anikwazi ukubatshela. Iqiniso lithi njengokhongolose ningafika nje lana nizokhankasa abanikhankasa kodwa nihlulekile ukusiza abantu baseThekwini. Kunembuzo eminingi ngobugebengu Mphemba la eThekwini esithembayo ukuthi uzozama ukuyilandelela uqinisekisa abantu abaphephile. Naku-MEC kwa health kunembono ethi ama-clinic awenikwa isikhathi siyafisa ukuthi kulandelelwe lokho. Ningagcini nje kuphela ngokufika lana kwenziwe ithembiso nikhulume kodwa abantu bengayiboni i-service delivery. Honorable Speaker, we need investigations on these projects, not just speeches by MECs. Let us follow money. We can't ignore all clear signs that there is corruption, and there is corruption eyenzeka la eThekwini. Asikwazi ubuyele emuva somlomo kwiManase report ngoba siyazi ukuthi ukubanthiwa kwalandelwa izinto ezivela kuManase report kuningi ngabe kusombululekile la eThekwini. We know the ANC is struggling with its own renewal. The Integrity Commission don't seem to win the battle because it's guided by factions. Nomuntu Msentuli wakhuluma ngocingo. Ucingo hayi baleqa nje. Fula eThekwini hayi abalitshovu ukujova. Sebebeke phansi eThekwini ucingo kaMdumseni. Yingakho sibona nje sebevumba kwesishaya mthetho. Awu.
The next The next speaker for 8 minutes is Honorable ubesazilungisa enter ama-regulations. The next speaker for 8 minutes is the Honorable MJ Mazibuko of the IFP.
Mhlonishwa somlomo. Mhlonishwa somlomo womkhandlu waseThekwini namakhansela khona. Mhlonishwa umengameli we-IFP, mhlonishwa vele Nkosi Nihlabisa. Nabahlonishwa zakwethu. Mhlonishwa somlomo isithombe sesifumana kulombiko wethu lo uyihlalo. Sikhombisa izimo ezibuhlungu abahlezi kuzona abantu abakhe lapha kumasipala waseThekwini. Umbiko ubaleka inkinga zokwesweleka kweendawo zokuhlala, ugesi, amanzi, ubugebengu, imigwaqo engekho esimene esihle ikakhulu le ephethwe isifundazwe Mphemba. Nokunye. Ngakhuluma kakhulu mhlonishwa somlomo. Ngifisa ukuphawula ngithinta umhlonishwa uMbali Fraser. Uma ekhuluma ngamaqhawe lawa angobasunguli bomzabalazo. Ngase ngikhumbula amazwi eNkosi uJesu kuLuka 6:46. Lapho ethi nisho lani kimi uthi Nkosi ningakwenze ngikushoyo. Ngoba neNkosi uJesu ayikhathaza abantu abalobe bethi hawu wena ndodana kaNkulunkulu kodwa bengakwenzi akushoyo. Sizokuveza ukuthi kuphi abangakwenzi okushiwoyo. Enkathi silapha eThekwini sayezwela ngawethu inkinga zendawo zokuhlala. eClermont nje ngangihola nangumhlonishwa uMthembu. Kwathi masiqeda ngakhuluma nabanye abesifazana abasebethi sebebuya ngisho emgwaqeni batoyitoya washamathayi kwanje kodwa lutho ngathi mina duduzekani usefikile umsindisi sengikhona. bayabika ukuthi lapha eTonwood lezi inkinga zokwesweleka kweindawo zokuhlala zisukela ngo1996 cabanga 1996 kepha okudidayo ukuthi umbiko uveza ukuthi imali yokuqala lemisebenzi yabe sikhishiwe uma lokhu yiqiniso ukhona ofanele asize ukuthi kwenzekani ngemali yabisebekele lo msebenzi eGreylands babika ukuthi sekwadlula iminyaka e15 ngibala iminyaka emidala nje ngifuna ukuza kulo kusha iminyaka e15 ingakhiwa ingxenye yesibili yezindlu umphakathi waseFrazier wona wathi usulinda izindlu iminyaka engaphezulu kwama20 umphakathi kaMgwaga wona uthi akukho ngakwenzanga ngo2009 babhalela umhlonishwa uDube Ncube baletha futhi kweza ukhansela uThandiwe Zuma waletha umhlonishwa uSenzo Mchunu esawundunankulu ngo2014 umhlonishwa umchunu welanda umhlonishwa uJames Ncumalo wayemeya ngo2018 zolo lokho kufika umnumzana umhlonishwa uJackson Mthembu ovele ehhovisi likaMengameli wezwe kodwa abanye abantu bakithi baphoqa ukungena endlini ezingenawo amanzi nogesi yize bese kubethenjiswa ukuthi nizothi ningena kube sekuyiparadise futhi kuneyindawo lapho abantu bakithi bayadilikela khona izindlu kuze kube manje zakhiwe mhlonishwa somlomo abanye bakhala ngokuthi abayitholi izindlu abasuka sebeyibhalisele bayithenjiswa bese ngoba isuka seyidayisiwe abanye basola amakhansela ngifisa ukusho phambi kaMengameli wami ukuthi uma kuthi elinye lalawo amakhansela lenkatha sizolicosha angazi noma bonke bazosho njalo noma bazothi step aside mhlonishwa somlomo umbiko uthinta udaba lomqoka lokubambezeleka ngokwakhiwa kwezindlu ikakhulu endaweni zamakhosi komkhomasi kodwa kusikhathazayo ukuthi umbiko awusiniki isithombe esiphelele sifisa ukwazi ukuthi imiphi lo msebenzi kumapha amakhosi kuziphi igodi ukuze sikwazi ukuphendula kahle sifisa ukwazi ukuthi uma ingonyama trust iphika ibeka ziphi izathu asiyifuni imbiko enyanyalatayo okwesibili ukukhathazayo ukuthi imbiko emibili yokuphendula okwangqongqosha uNkonyeni nokamasipala weTheku awusho lutho ngalolu daba lokukhathazwa ingonyama trust uthule tu siyafisa ukuthi lingasali lilenga kanje lolu daba lulandelwe sifike emnyombeni walo ukuthi emaphi lamakhosi akhala ngoba sengisebenza nomhlonishwa uRafe emisiwa lo mnyango ubencoma ukuthi endaweni zamakhosi ilapho ukwakheka kwezindlu kungenazo inkinga khona iningi lalezi inkinga mhlonishwa somlomo zidalwa ukuthi inkohlakala nokukhwabanisa sekwemukelekile njengendlela yokuphila ubufakazi nje ukuthi kuze bemanje sisalokho silinda umqulo ophelele weManase report ka2012 ukuze size ukuthi ubani owenzani ngalo mbiko waManase kwanyamalala imali ewu2.2 billion siyayifuna imali yabantu mhlonishwa somlomo idolobha leTheku liya ngokunya liphenduka umhumo abaphangi kucaca bhala lapho ubona ukuthi imizi yakho libiyelo ngayindongo ezinde neinsimbi angahlali abantu besifazana basakwazi ukuze edolobheni befaka ucwebe amaringi emshado ngoba saba ukuthi bazobuyela emuva ingasekho iminwe namakhanda ngoba kuthatha amawiki emakhanda kuleli Theku abesifazana abaningi ikakhulukazi abakhulile bangelelwe endlini baphucwa imali yabo badlwengulwe kuleli Theku bayavota njalo labantu uhulumeni unomthwalo kubavikela thina wethu umsebenzi ukwelusa laba bantu abanika imali yabantu ukuthi bayisebenzise sibe lethwe lapho sineluse ingangeni emaphaketheni abantu bakithi abakhe lapha begudla ulwandle koKlewood Merebank Merewent Wentworth eBehalf esiphinga bawukudla kwezifo ezifana nofuba icancer ukukhwehlela ilonda njalo ngenxa yokuphefumula umoya onamakhemikhali ayingozi ovela embonini ezingenaluzwelo kodwa ukhona uhulumeni okufanele ngabe uyabavikela labantu bakhokha intela njalo bayavota njalo labantu Ngaphezu kwalokho abantu abahlala eMlazi, kwaKito, koMevili, nakwezinye indawo baphile ezimeni zokungcola okuhlaqisayo ngenxa yokuthi udoda uthuthwa ngendlela, nalapho futhi khona umkhoshosho khona. Mhlonishwa somlomo, ngithi abantu baseThekwini abayikhulule. Abantu baseThekwini bayazi ukuthi kulelo nalelo khona akekho umuntu ongakhali lapha eThekwini. Kodwa banenhlanhla ukuthi phakathi kwalamaqembu ayalapha khona i-IFP iholo mengameli wayo. Uma ngabe indoda noma umfazi kuhlukumeza i-divorce, ngosuku lokuthi bathi ngiyamthanda. Kunini abantu abadivorce bakwazi ukuthola abantu abazobalekelela babasize. Abantu balapha eThekwini banofakazi obubanjwa ngezandla bemsebenzi ye-IFP. Nansi iMangosuthu University of Technology, nansi iPrince Mshini, nansi ikole uMlazi campus, uMlazi Comprehensive High School.
Isikhathi
Iphela njalo mase kushisa.
Honorable members, the next speaker for 12 minutes is Honorable S.A. Duma of the ANC.
Revolutionary greetings, Honorable Speaker of our province. Revolutionary greetings, Honorable Premier, who's on virtual. I'm just going to cite the quote from O.R. Tambo, which reads thus: "Comrades, you might think it is very difficult to wage a liberation strike. Wait until you are in power. I might be dead by then. At that stage, you will realize that it is actually more difficult to keep the power than to wage a liberation war. People will be expecting services from you. We are here to report and own up our problems." President Tambo profusely apologized. We have wronged our people because they are the one who give us this mandate. They are the one who give us this power. What transpired from the report that has been tabled by Honorable Chair of Chairs, Kabadela, gave the indication that as the ruling party, we understand the thrust, we have the solution, we are here to come up with a galvanized strategy and the mechanism to ensure what transpired yesterday, what has been happening on a day-to-day basis will be addressed. Sifuna ukusho njalo nje, Honorable Speaker, then we address some issues. Ngiyafisa ukuthi umphakathi wakithi ke ungathuki uma ubona abantu bedansa mabekule podium, abenzi kanje mina ngekho. Ngiyabona badansiswa i-TV namhlanje na, ngiyadabuka nje ubona abantu don't try this at home. It is not the usual practice. It is new, it is abnormal, the human experience, don't even copy it. Ngiyaxolisa ndunankulu ukuthi ngifuna nje ukuthi ngiswipe kancane kulowa kini umhlonishwa uMazibuko ngasegcineni. Umhlonishwa uMazibuko benethuba and sicabanga ukuthi ke yena ngoba engasegcineni bekade akwazi ukuthi asidodise asinikeze nongasiya phambili. Kodwa uvula incwadi yezililo uzokhala. Akagcini ngokukhala uthi inkinga inkohlakalo yenzeka la eThekwini akwenzeki. Umhlonishwa uMazibuko uyamazi umeya waseZululand district. The only mayor South Africa osahlala kwi tender process.
Honorable Duma. Usephakamile umhlonishwa uMncango.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Akahlale phansi phela. Okay, Honourable Speaker, I'm rising on Rule 50.
Rule 50.
Just to check if the dress code is formal or traditional.
Manike bahlonishwa angithi ukhuluma nami. The attire that is worn by Honorable Duma falls within. You may look at it and also remember the shirts that are Afro-centric that are usually worn by your chief whip. They are the same design. They are the same shirts that are acceptable. In fact, the shirt that Honorable Dube and Honorable Mwango usually wear, yourself, are from the same category. Sit down.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Mwango Mpangazitha is being limited by the type of education that was ensued from the oppression. The type of education is called indoctrinations. In fact, Speaker, we thought we'll highlight that we want to also follow you on wishing our matriculants a good 2020, even after what happened. We also hope that John Steenhuisen is also participating, writing his examination matric this year, because it's got standard 11 in the standard format. And unfortunately, if his color was like our color, the media in South Africa today would have reflected that how can the leader of the opposition doesn't even possess a matriculants in South Africa? It was going to be a big deal. But because it's light and complexion, the lack of melanin, nobody's going to write about that. And nobody's going even to identify such gaps in our lifetime.
Honorable Duma, little moment. Honorable Dr. Kika.
Madam Speaker, I rise on Rule 52, read with 2532G.
You are raising in 52?
With 2532G. May I proceed, Madam?
Yes, I'm listening.
Madam Speaker, the honorable member is misleading the House because the leader of the official opposition in the country does have a matric.
That is a matter of debate.
It's not a matter of debate.
Qualifications,
it's a matter of fact, Madam
Speaker. Sorry. The issue of qualifications and lack of qualifications is not a material factor when you are speaking about politics and politicians, unless you are advancing your own debate. You can be here, be leading without even grade R. But if you want to advance a debate that is politically, you are fine to do that.
But not with lies, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Duma.
Thank you so much, Honorable Makhubela. We can just update you, Honorable Speaker, that Africans in DA, where Honorable Kika comes from, are used as a bait to attract vote and to front with them so that this evil monster called DA can comply with the codes of South Africa. This is a racist organization which still try by all means to oppress our people. Uzozwa umuntu onjengomeya ezokutshela ngomlazi akazalokothe ngisho ukulokotha umunyawo kodwa because of a populism stance ngabebona abantu uzokhuluma ngomlazi akhulume ngomasho into abebekade beyibeka eceleni abakazi bayicabanga nokuthi into existayo. And what is even painful that we have umhlonishwa umpangazitho ozodebate akasasitsheli ngosizi ahleli kulona. Uyabona isimo esikhulunywa unzima ethi uma ngabe umuntu esekuphethe kamfana umdivorce efana ngabe utshela uzakwabo umnqwango lapha eduzane ukuthi seyibashaye kakhulu iDA abelumbi lapha bayayithatha into yabo abafuni nabo usuku nosuku. What is even painful, they are treated like animals in the feedlot. When they've overfed them, they take you out in the abattoir and they slaughter them one by one. And we wonder who is next. It is a painful exercise. That's what we are currently understanding in our context of politics. What Tambo fought for, it is something that are still subjected nowadays. Sifisa ukusho-ke nje ukuthi abahlonishwa abeqhamuka kanqola emasonto bazishila izinto gabadela. Ezinye zazo sizinothile zonke. Uma ungakhuluma ngomnotho nje, umhlonishwa okhona umphemba ngaphakathi kwethu uyingxenye ye-economic cluster kunezinto abazenzile eziningi kakhulu. In fact indunankulu ufana ngabe siyagqamisa ukuthi ipandemic indlela kade inkulu ngayo wathi emeyithula umongameli wachaza ukuthi in the potential of wiping the entire humankind. Sifisa ukubonga kuyohlala emabhukini omlando somlomo ukuthi lo hulumeni olidwa ukhongolose bancane kakhulu abantu abagcine beluza impilo ngenxa yama-means athathiwe. Somlomo umhlonishwa usotoba uzibalile ibhedlela wazibala izikhungo washo nemali esetshenziwe. Siyafisa-ke somlomo nondunankulu nethimba lakho ukuthi ipace akade behamba ngayo ngenxa yepandemic kwi-command team bangabe sayiyeka kube yiyona type of pace ezoshintshela iy'mpilo zabantu Sekuprovekile ukuthi PFMA is not clearly a barrier if we understand the process. That is why kusithusile somlomo uma sibona iruling eyenziwe iSupreme Court ekhuluma ngendaba yeBEE ukuthi anjani kanti lamajaji angafuni ukuthi intuthuko yabantu ibuyele kubantu. Kuyasiza ukuthi unawo Constitution usection 217 which deliberate and deals with issue ukuthi senza kanjani ukuthi process ibe transparent, ibe competitive and ibe equitable in ensuring ukuthi abebala elifana nathi bangaqhubeki bacindezelo ngoba abelumbi bamile into yabo bayidefenda ngisho ibheda yumsangani njalo. Thina asihlangene sikhuluma nje into ezingasilekeleli. That is why sicabanga ukuthi emaqembini lawa ngaphesheya asinayo inkinga omeya bebekhuluma kanje no purpose bakhule bemcindezela umAfrika bakhule bengamthandi vele umuntu omnyama. Kubhlungu kakhulu kweozakwethu bebengasaqhamuki nezisombululo ezokwazi ukuthi sisilekele siye phambili ngoba ithina esithi njengamanje sivula izandla sithi akusetshenzwe.
Honorable Duma, in your debate you have, in terms of the rule, cast an aspersion on the person of Honorable Mayor and Honorable Papas when you said they grew up doing whatever you were saying. That part of your own speech is also contrary with what we have ruled on previously in a matter that was regarding Honorable Majola and Honorable Rabe. I request you to withdraw that part regarding those two members.
Unconditionally we withdraw, Honorable Speaker. Sifisa ukuthi ukosomlomo ukuthi umnotho wakuleli theko sihleli kulona enye into ezoyithuthusa kakhulu ukuthi bangene kule ngxenye yama cooperatives ukuthi sifisa ukuthi ithathwe iresolution ethi abantu abasemlazi bakomashu bakonanda bazenzele imisebenzi emincane ngale kokusebenza ama consultant ngoba lokho kuzolekelela ukuthi intuthuko isheshe ifike kubantu buy the material for abantu bethu bakwazi ukuzenzela izinto zethu. Kubhlungu ke somlomo ukuthi njengamanje nama conglomerate noma izinkampani lezi ama monopolies sezikwazi ukuthatha ngisho Mr Price or Shoprite no Checkers bayongena emalokishini bacontest le space ama spas. Siyamncenxa kakhulu umhlonishwa ke uDube Ncube ukuthi akayiqaphele iprocess enjalo ngoba abazokwazi abantu bakithi ukuthi bancintisane nalabantu abawonxiwa nkulu uma kuthiwa uzoyidedela iprocess yakhona ihambe kanje. Siyafisa ukuyibona i-township economy ikhula, i-township economy ibuyiselwa ezandleni eziphephile. We also listen, Honorable Speaker, on the presentation that was done by Honorable Governor in the initial phase. I think he was, if you were listening, you thought it's a plagiarism because he repeated almost everything that was already mentioned by Honorable Fraser. This means that we are capable of constructing ourselves. We can critique, we can come up with a solution in the process. But you elevated something fundamental. Don't shake your hand. You've raised something fundamental on the issue of cremation. I think usomlomo waseThekwini ukhona. You must also understand, unfortunately in our culture, the hegemony as Africans, Umasipala of eThekwini is currently on the process of consulting because the issue of cremation in our culture is not something that is normal. It is something new. It is something that should be introduced in phases. We understand the scarcity of land. We understand the processes, but all the people, we are collaborating on the process of ensuring ukuthi kuyahlanganyelwa. Sifisa ukusho ke kodwa ke mhlonishwa ukuthi ke ibalekile iprocess. Honorable Mayor raised, in fact, we must just highlight in particular, Honorable Mayor, we doubt very much that he read the mood, he read this report. He came with a preconceived ideas. His tone, unfortunately, his debate was weak. We must also elaborate on that because he has never been strong, but his debate was weak in such a way that he did not pick even something that gives a solution to what eThekwini municipality. Go read their IDP, go read their LED strategy. They are already acknowledging in the issue of infrastructure what is going to happen. Unfortunately, in South Africa, Honorable Somlomo, we must indicate the issue of division of revenue. The formula that is currently being utilized, it is not something that is conducive for our environment. Ngoba iti akuthathwe ukuthi bangaka abantu abakhona ayibheki ukuthi the Durban North, the mhlangazo of this world have been developed already. then ensure that you must allocate them more for Lamontville, more for Umlazi, more for Kwamakhuta, more for Ngqolosi, ukuze kwenzeke sure ukuthi isimo sethu siyakwazi ukuya phambili. We thought ke ubaba uNzima, umhlonishwa uNzima uzoyiveza indaba ukuthi ngoba Umlazi uhamba kuwona. Uma ngosuthi highway nje uma ungena namhlanje ungenela kwimall yakhe ngesikhathi sakhongolose kuyena uhamba wonqinqa izimali uvula ungenele nje kuyona ke imall lapha enkulu imall yaqasha abantu ngaka left sikhule kuona la mahostel bekade engenjiya masha la mahostel hamba kuye itolo kaJ hamba itolo kaBusy intsha izitolo zenziwe yilo uhulumeni hamba uye kaMnyanda ubheka ukuthi lapha estation abantu abamnyama kade behla kanzima besho lapha koD naka Bhezansi bebengakuthola amathuba ibona ke njengamanje bayingxenye yomnotho wawo ngenze ukuthi usitshela ukuthi I appreciate such a dare conduct singaba surprise ukuthi kanti umAfrika awufuni nathuthuka ufuna kuthuthuke bani sinenkinga ukuthi uyayishela into ukuthi uletha kuwena kodwa uthi akungenzeki bangenzeka abantu siyanisaba ukuthi ngenzeka ningayilethi solution enikhuluma ngayo ngoba when the issue of service delivery ngasasihlehle siye ngale kwa94 ungabona ukuthi onke abakekhonje bake banikwe ithuba bangalishintsha kahle kahle landscape njengamanje sithelela phezulu kwaleyo process yokuthi sikwazi ukuthi sizilungise izinto zakhona siyafisa ke somlomo ukuthi sibalule indaba ukuthi umnotho wethu sifisa umAfrika ahlanganyele endaweni yaseThekwini ukuthi aziphathele umnotho wakhe. It is true, Honorable Speaker, that currently the issue pandemic, it has affected and regressed some of the things. As izinto ebezonzeka kulo nyaka wezimali like the Department of Transport, likhona iphuzu elivezwe uNzima Honorable Mpemba elithi imigaqo eminye yaseThekwini ingathuthwa kangcono emase kube khona SLA service level agreement esheshayo neTheku lokho kuyokwazi ukuthi sisize. Siyabonga kakhulu somlomo ngokusinika leli thuba.
Siyabonga. Now we are coming to the end. We will call upon the chairperson of committees to respond to the debate for 8 minutes. Honorable Artim Tembu for 8 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Madam Speaker, and thank you to all speakers who have just debated on this topic. I'm sitting here listening to all debate, and there was something clear. What was clear is that we were brutally honest to give a picture of what is on the ground. That's why some of the speakers struggled. And it reminds me of the debate that of what I read recently. You know, there's these American elections that are going on now. And China was saying, people of China doesn't care who wins. Because to them, what is happening in America is a show. It's a show. It ignores everything that needs to be looked at in America. The dying of people almost every day. America is leading on that. You see, there was a big issue of the Black Lives Matter, of which it's not a question in these elections. It's only a question who can represent the bourgeoisie better. So it is good that what is good about this multi-party program, we all go as a unit to the people. When I started giving a report here, I said the report is 341 pages, telling exactly what we found on the ground. I must also apologize, maybe even to the MEC. I think it was unfair to blame the MEC. We gave the MEC only 5 minutes to respond. And we gave the speakers, some of the speakers, we gave them 10 minutes. I think it was an oversight that we are being unfair to the MECs. And I don't think that's something to grandstand on. We should be saying how to correct that, you see, so that we make this process efficient and effective. That is what we should be doing. Maybe also, let's not say Governor did plug. It's any plug. He rise. Yes, it was good. It was good. You see, when we start to talk one language, that is good. You see, we need to promote that. You see, maybe we need to take this further. That once we start to see things the same, that this is wrong and this is right, it will go a long way to address izinto ezihlupha umphakathi wakithi. It will go a long way to address izinto. Babu Mayor, Honorable, I don't think it is correct to isolate few bad things and paint it. To look at the part, a small part, and make it the whole. Maybe I need to do it dialectically. You see, that is wrong. eThekwini have won awards. You see, we should be building on that. You see, we should be building on that. That's why I'm happy that Honorable Tele was brutally frank to say also this is what was wrong that we saw, that need to be corrected. And this is what we want to hear. And the people sitting there, this is what we want to hear. This is wrong things, you see. What are you going to do about it? You see. This is what, and also we can say whether, yes, there are things that are unpalatable that you can say about eThekwini. But what is good, there are steps that have been taken. So if you say there is no consequence management, mina ngingaya kolanda school fees sami. Mina. Emangosuthu. So there is a consequence management, and we know, and it is recorded, it's registered. So Babthwala, when we talk, yabona thina nawe, mesingase sikhulume ubaba uLokhuza Seja. ngingase sikhulume nge-cater deployment. Ayi singaboshwa nawe. Asiyeke. You see. Mesakhuluma kodwa i-system that you operate with iyona eyenza kube khona i-cater deployment. So there is nothing wrong the ruling party is doing. You see. I-cater deployment happens everywhere, and every party is doing cater deployment. Except if you want to grandstand, coming from the ruling party, want to be honest, it is happening, and is on a system as it only. 2 minutes. Okay. One last thing. Benzo advisor, Honorable Mloto.
The honorable member has craved for the indulgence of the speaker because he is not responding as a party. Speaker is a chair of committees.
Honorable Mloto, I request you go to 341 pages report. What you said there is uthola ukuthi akulona iqiniso. Everything was registered, even things that have been said by the opposition here have been registered and are going to be taken to all departments, to all MEC, and Salo angibonge kakhulu umsebenzi ubekufanele wenziwe kwi-multi-party ufezekile. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Kika. Honorable Kika.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I rise on Rule 64 and 65.
I did not get you.
Rule 64 with 65, Madam Speaker.
Rule 64.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Regarding speaking times, Madam Speaker.
I want to also take you.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
I want to also take you to the precedence of the Presidium. I said the honorable member has craved for the indulgence because speaking as a as a chair of committees, he was wrapping up. I have given him that, understanding that the report that he was reporting on, which is 300 and something documents, he had to exceed. That was the reason. He did not finish even the 2 minutes that exceeded with. I was not going to allow him to go beyond the 2 minutes because he was speaking as a leader of the delegation, not as a party speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm just noting the precedent that you have set. Thank you very much.
Yes, the precedence of the presiding office of the Presidium, you must note it always because I did rule on the matter. I gave him I craved his indulgence like I have craved many members on requests that they made. No, it might not have been on time. Honorable members, thank you. We are now at the end of our discussion. But I think that kwauba siona uma sikhohlwa njengesishayamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal ukungabongi indlela enibambisene ngayo malunga esishayamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal, kakhulukazi uma ngizobonga ngiye ngibonge kakhulu osotswebhu bawo wonke amaqembu ala kulendlu neinhlangano ezikhona ukusukela kuqala lohlelo lwe-TLTP ngoSeptember ngokubambisana nibe yinxalenye yokuhambela izindawo ebezihlonziwe eThekwini. Nangokuphinda futhi uma sesibuyile sekusenziwa le discussion, le debate yanamhlanje, kube khona ukubambisana kahle neParliament eliphilile. Siyabonga kakhulu malungu esishayamthetho saKwaZulu-Natal. Sesibonga umasipala waseThekwini nabantu umphakathi waseThekwini ngokusivulela izandla nasivulela amakhaya enu sifikile ngoSeptember kuma-zone naphinda futhi nasivulela amakhaya enu kule iy'nsuku silana eThekwini kule iy'nsuku ey'mbili. Konke lokho sithi kuni ncatsho-ke maqobokazana namaqobo akuthi. Uma sele sikwenzile konke lokho malunga ahloniphekile okunibonga, sicela ukuthi niqhubeke ngokubambisana kakhulukazi kwizinto eziqondene ne-multi-party oversight. Singena ke manje endaweni yokugcina njengoba ungxoxo seyifikile, singena endaweni yokugcina eyokuthi umbiko siyawuvuma nasi u-adopta njengoba wethuliwe ngumhlonishwa umthembu ekuqaleni kwa-debate ukuthi ube ngumbiko wendlu, the adoption of the report. Labo ke abathi yebo sengobezwa ngobani nithi noba ayi. Labo abangavumelani nokuthi siyamkele umbiko sobeva ngoba bethi no. Umbiko wamkelekile, it's now the document of the legislature. Uhamba nombulelo njalo, ningayikhohlwa le ndawo yokubonga kuyo. Kanti kahloniphekile, uma sesiqeda sizocela ukwenza izaziso. Isaziso sokuqala ukuthi ngesikhathi besisidla lapha bekudla khona abahlonishwa, kunomuntu umhlonishwa okhohlwe amehlo akhe, izilonzi zakhe. Sicela ukuthi ahlangane nabasebenzi basesishayamthetho ngasemuva senomkhombisa lapho kume khona abasebenzi basesishayamthetho ngoba uma engaphathanga iglasses zakhe kusho ukuthi nendlela kazoyibona. Honorable members, now we have come to the end of the sitting. The next sitting day is on the 24th of November 2010, and the House is adjourned until 2020 at 10. 2020 at 10. So we adjourn the House until the 24th of November, 10 o'clock.
Order, Madam Speaker.